Ladies love the skin.
Ow.
Bring it a little bit closer. The good skin, that is. That's why having a proper skincare routine is very important, and you need to feel it to each. The process is so easy, just 4 steps. You got your daily face wash. That's gonna clean your face up nice and right. You got your exfoliator scrub. That's gonna open up your pores. You got your AM moisturizer with the SPM 20, which is gonna protect you from the sun. You also got your PM moisturizer, which is gonna make sure your skin is protected throughout the night. Teej has tons of reviews from dedicated customers across the world. I know I said a lot, but it's okay, because guess what? It comes with an instruction card to explain to you in detail what to do morning and night.
And because Teej is sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description to get 30% off your first skincare system and a free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll also get 20% off for life. By the way, both gifts you're choosing from are a $20 value and a complete game changer. A silicone body scrubber or a nail and face grooming kit. Personally, I prefer the silicone body scrubber. I don't like using towels when I travel, so the body scrubber is an excellent way to open up the pores and get the body clean. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today.
What's going on, family? I'm Lapeef, and I'm here to show you my daily routine using Assured Man King on top. Assured Man presents to you a men's 4-piece beard, hair, and body grooming kit that stimulates your hair follicles, strengthens the follicle wall, softens, hydrates, and controls your hair. The system doubles as a hair, face, and body care application. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure your beard is clean using a beard, face, and body cleanser. It also has hemp oil, omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9. Steaming is great for guys with a coarser beard texture as the extra moisture softens and smooths the hair shaft, making it easier for combing and brushing and styling. Now we want to use the beard and hair oil. The beard and hair oil is for hydrating your beard to help soften and tame the thick hairs. It acts as a way of conditioning the hair without drying it out, giving it a sleek, groomed look. It's also aimed at taming flyaways to keep your style in line. Now we want to use the beard growth balm. Our beard balm ingredients nourish your beard so that it stays conditioned, and we use only natural fixed oils that will nourish the beard hair. Keeping your beard moisturized will help do away with dryness by conditioning the beard hairs and the skin. Our beard balm helps reduce breakage and tangles. Now we want to grab our pick. Pick out the beard to give it that full look. After you get all the hair even, you want to take your brush and brush down all the loose hairs. Before I go to bed, I use the beard, face, and body moisturizer lotion. Using this lotion helps moisturize and conditions the beard hairs, leaving the hair soft and tangle-free. It also helps with grooming and with maintenance, and also an easy comb for the morning. What are you waiting for? It's time for you to get Assured today.
We have a community of people who come in to watch the Social Proof podcast live regularly. And there's
But to do that, you must be a member.
To do that, you have to be a member of Actionable CEO or the Morning Meetup, right? So we have someone that we're extremely fond of who was coming routinely. And as we heard, we got her hooked up in a relationship. She's in a whole love situation.
For sure.
But then she unfollowed you.
She unfollowed me
on Instagram. Her boyfriend is here right now. Shout out to her man. What's your name?
Yeah, Tanny.
Tanny.
So here's the thing. So she'll come around a lot, and that was my dog, right? So when and Donnie says, I don't know why. How do you know this? Like when people unfollow you, I just always check. I don't know if I'll see you for a while, then like you pop on my timeline or something like that. I don't know why I just check to see if
Dave be hitting me up and be like, guess who unfollowed you?
I'll check myself and then I'll check with Donnie.
I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, such and such unfollowed you. And I'm like, why do you even know this? How do you know this?
I just be checking.
Did she unfollow me too then?
Well, I don't know. I checked and she was unfollowing me. I said, I'm gonna unfollow you then. But I didn't know if there was like any issue or I haven't talked to you in a while. But we're getting more information this morning. So I see Tanny this morning and he pulls up like, yo, what up, big dog? And then I just mentioned, hey, your girl unfollowed me. And he said it was intentional. I said, oh. And it was like, yeah, we were doing a source. What's the word you use?
Just like a disconnect.
Like a disconnect.
Yeah.
A social media disconnect. In my head, Donnie, I can remember some people who did a social media disconnect.
Yeah.
Wall Street Trapper did a social media disconnect.
Unfollowed everybody.
Me. He unfollowed everybody. I'm cool with that because you unfollowed everybody. Him 500 did the same thing. A couple people did the same thing. Wallow unfollowed. I don't think Wallow ever followed me back. So he unfollowed everybody. Is he following you? Of course he is. Anyway, my point is, so that's what I'm thinking. And I was like, oh, so Tandy, you unfollowed me too? He said, no. And then I said, so just she unfollowed me. He said, yeah. And then we found out that he strongly encouraged her to unfollow me. So I'd love to hear what's going on.
I would say that you have a giant influence on how she thinks. So it's more so when you have a disconnect, like people that actually like have an impact on you. Like you
in a negative way, you think?
I don't think it's negative. But at the same time, you want to be able to think for yourself kind of thing. Like for example, last time we were here, no shade on you, Donnie.
Which means
you were going through something. But yeah, like your advice was really harsh.
What was her advice?
What was my advice?
It's like, if you're not serious, it was one of those conversations.
Like, don't be sleeping together if you're not serious?
Yeah. It
or
was
don't waste
actually
time
worse
if
than
you're
that.
not serious.
Yeah. So it was more so like
that was harsh?
A little bit.
I would say it again and stand on it.
I feel like women on women, you guys are really harsh on each other. Yeah. I just feel like women on women, just I've seen it, and yeah.
Did you have her unfollow Donnie too?
I did not. I didn't need to.
The plot thickens.
Wait a minute. This episode is not just for entrepreneurs. This episode is for anybody out there who is settling for, dealing with, stuck in a situation that is not safe for you. It's not a safe place. It's not a safe mindset. It's not a safe lifestyle. Share this episode because you deserve better for yourself. You do deserve to think for yourself. And it's hard. It's hard right now when you feel like the people closest to you are the only input that you need. The check that you're getting is the money that you need. You live on the street before you allow somebody to control you and manipulate you. But there's always help available. I don't know the phone number to the resources. I don't know. But send me a message and we'll find it together. We'll make sure you get the help that you need. I'll look at your resume and make sure that you get the resume that you need to be in a better position. I will talk to you. I will do what I can to help you out of that situation because nobody deserves to live under the control of another human being when that control is coming from a place of self-motivation.
Period.
It's go time. What's going on, fam? Welcome to Lapeef Network. Let me go introduce the crew. We got Mr. Sweeney. We got Ali, Trav Smooth, Dari, Mila, Ruth, Marcus, Casey. Shantae's on her way. Welcome to Lapeef Network. I'm Lapeef. What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
Sup.
Feeling good, feeling great.
Yeah, blessed to be here.
Manipulating my day so I always have a great one. Shit like that.
Shit like that. Nothing wrong with that. Good to see you guys. We're going to get the housekeeping out the way. Shout out to the sponsor, T Channel, Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. 30% off along with a free gift. That link is in the description. And also, if you become a member, you get 20% off for life. Also, it's time for us men to get our beards in order. Make sure you go ahead and cop that Assured Man King on top. The link is in the description as well. This is skin friendly. It's skin friendly. So whenever you get done rubbing on your beard, feel free to rub it all over. Let's see who we got in the chat, man. Shout out to Doug Will. I ain't seen you in a while, brother. Mr. BX87. Angela Swift, Dale Matthews, Shannon Duncan. Sweeney became a member. Salute to you, sir. Welcome to the Green Gang. Harrison Davis. We also have somebody, I don't know what that language is, how to translate that, but he says, hello, Jay, I'm a huge fan of your channel. Please don't forget to bring back Andrea. She was an awesome guest that was very exciting because she brought a totally different perspective. You never know who's watching, man. Everybody is loved out here. Everybody is loved. And including Trev, Ali, Sweeney. It's a bunch of love out there. Y'all look dry as hell, man. So I feel like I'm on an island on my own.
How you? I'm smiling up a storm. I'm in a great
Yo,
mood.
we was letting you work, man. We was letting you work.
Letting you get it in.
What's going on, Eugene Steele? He's also in the chat as well. Good to see you over here, brother. Well, if you guys were paying attention to the timer, there was some context in that video. Were you guys able to hear it okay? You was able to see it? We're going to hop into the main topic first. Nobody deserves to live under the control of another human being when that control is coming from a place of self-motivation and manipulation. I'm not sure if you guys got any experience in that, but we're going to go ahead and see if we can debunk this. I'm going to play a little bit of a series of clips, maybe about 3 of them throughout the conversation, just to keep adding context and adding to the conversation. So I'm going to start off with this and then we'll hop right into it.
I want you to like really hear yourself.
Okay.
You have a girlfriend, and there are some people that have never dated your girlfriend, but you're asking your girlfriend to unfollow people that are making too much sense.
Mm-hmm.
That don't sound crazy to you, bro?
No. Not at all.
I just add a little context, a little sprinkle of it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with you first, Trev. What are your thoughts about what you've seen unfold there? And then feel free to add some additional perspective on manipulation.
Yeah. From that clip right there, it kind of sounds like the dude might be insecure, right? That's kind of weird to me. Like the whole unfollow thing, really, I never really understood that. I don't have the time to sit there and check who is and who isn't. Like, I mean, come on, man, get on with your real life. Like, I think we're taking social media just a little bit too serious sometimes. Like, are you really worried about who's following you, who's not? If you're not interesting to them, why do they need to follow you, right? And even if you get mad at me, I don't care. That's nonsense. As far as like who your mate is, as far as I go, I don't even check, man. I don't care who's following my wife. I don't care who she's following. It doesn't mean anything, because one thing that I realize is that I separate social media from real life, and I understand she has that ability too, to where you don't try to dig too deeply into it, right? Like, surely you can be manipulated if you're looking at it for the answers. Social media sometimes can help you with certain things, right? I jump on YouTube University all the time, but I take it as such. I don't go there looking for answers to how to treat my wife or how to manipulate her, or you know what I mean, or how to live in her mind rent free all day. Like, that type of stuff is crazy to me. And I think that's the deeper problem, when people just can't separate the social media from real life. Like, it's really not that serious for me, at least. And it shouldn't be that serious for anyone. Manipulation's a dangerous thing, right? But we all do it. Let me see if I can remember the definition. It's kind of like, it says to use something in a skillful manner, right? So that's kind of dirty right there. You're using someone, right? You're using someone. So, and there are we talked about before where there's kind of positive ways to manipulate, but most people who tend to manipulate aren't trying to do it for that person's benefit, right? They're trying to benefit themselves. So you have to watch out for people who are manipulative, and you have to learn how to look for the signs, right? You have your gaslighting, you have a bunch of little things, but you'll understand that person is usually in for themselves. I think that we just have to be able to recognize it. That's the biggest thing, is just try to recognize it. Unfortunately, you do learn to recognize it after you have some terrible experiences, right? But the main thing is to not make the same mistakes and to learn from the mistakes you had and better yourself with it. When you can't continue to make the same mistakes over. That's the main problem we have, is people not understanding when someone's doing something to them that it's just the same thing that they keep on doing, and you just keep falling for it, and you allow this person to control you. Once they have your mind, it's a wrap. I'll leave it there for now.
I'm going to go to Ali, but before I do, this is one of the comments. He said, the most dangerous man is the one that really thinks he's a great guy while doing his damage. Ali, what are your thoughts about that? I know you've seen the video. Have you ever been in a situation where you dealt with a man that was manipulating, or have you been the manipulator?
I have definitely met some people that have tried to do that, but it doesn't really get far with me because I mean, I could see right through it. Like with this man, I like to ask questions. So when he was being asked questions, he didn't have an answer. So you basically want her to unfollow these people, and they're giving the reasons, and he like, yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, that's the reason. I think that shows insecurity, and I will have to have a conversation with my man. Like, why are you insecure? What, it's deeper than me just unfollowing somebody, because it can go into other things if you start to let people control your life. Relationships are meant to enhance one another. So you're not coming into my life telling me what to do unless it's an enhancement. So what's the enhancement? What's the reason? And if I'm with you, I'm very much open to listening to your constructive criticism, but it has to make sense. So when I'm asking you these questions, you got to give me answers that make sense. And he's like, yep, that's the reason. Yep, that's the reason. It seems like toxic masculinity. It seems like he just wants to control something, anything that he can control, which is probably social media. Men look for control in certain areas, which I don't mind giving up control, but it got to make sense. And that's my answer.
All right. I'm going to go to you, Brother Marcus. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
Let me ask y'all a question. If your mother is interfering in your relationship, right, and it's to the negative detriment of the relationship, would you tell your boyfriend or your husband, hey, your mama need to stay out of our relationship? I don't care if you talk to her, but don't talk to her about our relationship. So y'all fine with that, right? Okay, let me ask the man a question. If your girlfriend got a gay best friend and he never liked you, and he always like in her ear telling her things that's detrimental to the relationship, would you tell her not to talk to him? I'm gonna assume that's yes, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna say yeah. Anybody who's an obvious detriment, they got to be out. Like you can't have outside interference, right? But I think more importantly, you have to vet in your relationship and make sure you're not with the person who's easily influenced by outsiders.
I 100% agree. It sounded to me like he's failed that step, and step 2 was something was going on via the social media that was influencing her and what he perceived to be negative. I don't know exactly what was said or what he had an issue with. Maybe he was sugarcoating it. Maybe she was saying something like, I think he said something about sex or something, or they need to break up in their relationship. The person from the outside might have influenced her to be like, well, if we're not married, I'm breaking up with you this week. And they fighting about that all week. And they might have been together for 2-3 months. But because they said you either married or you single, and he heard them say that, now he got a whole fight in his house. And at the end of that fight, he like, where did you get this from? And she like, well, online. He said, he like, oh, really? Man, stop following him. I could easily see that conversation going that way. Like really, really easily see that conversation going that way. Now,
Marcus, real quick, would you believe or would you buy into if that's happening, would you not say that this person's probably a bad leader, they have poor leadership qualities, if outside influences to be able to just jump in and derail your relationship?
100%. But he already failed in the selection vetting process. So it stands to reason that he gonna fail in a whole lot of other categories because he overlooking the, like, you know, you said, why would you date somebody that's that easily controlled by outside influences? That had nothing to do, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like he in that situation. So
I
yeah,
got a question.
I agree with you on that, Trev. What I was who said they had a question?
That was me.
All right, what's the question?
How can you judge her off one clip and say, well, she's not a good person for him because she's easily influenced? We could say the same about black men and rap music. If he have his favorite rapper that he listened to, oh, he's easily influenced, dump him.
If
You didn't vet him
I would
right.
agree with that.
if
I
he
would agree with that,
So you
Ali.
gotta give
listen, if
people.
you're a
I would
young
agree with
boy,
that.
Hold up.
Hold on, make sure we
Yeah.
talk one at a
I'm
time
just-
so the audience can hear us.
Light on young boy.
I'm gonna just say, so give people grace. Like, it's only one clip. I think that he needs to, and he needed to answer the questions as to why he wanted her to unfollow. That's why they put him, like they put him on a spot because they wanted to, like, no, why are you doing this? It's stupid. And he like,
Ali, I
oh.
thought you was asking a question. I was in the middle of talking. You said I got a question.
So the question is, so if we judge her off one clip, can we also judge everything else off of what you do? You're easily influenced because you listen to Future or Drake every time he drop a new album, you download it. Can we judge you and say, well, you can't be dateable because you
Well,
easily are influenced?
So to answer your question, if as a grown man you listen to a Drake album and it caused relationship issues, that's a problem. you should, if Drake drop a new album and your man break up with you or you start fighting with your man because Drake dropped a new album, I would say that I got a lot of
But
judgment.
the question, not to cut you off, the question was, what's the problem? What's the relationship problem? They were asking him, so what's the problem? And he couldn't address what's the problem. So why is she now being penalized because he can't even identify the problem because she just getting this knowledge? And they said it was good knowledge. They admitted like it's some good information, right?
I'm not sure nobody was penalizing. Did anybody penalize her?
That's what I was going to address. I never penalized her. I was speaking. Actually, it wasn't even really about her. It was in regards to if this is the case based off of this. She's probably a wonderful young lady. Shout out to her. I ain't got nothing negative to say about her. What I'm saying is, if you're in a relationship and outside influences take a spin in a relationship, because it wasn't that it made her a better girlfriend, because I doubt that if somebody is influencing you to be better, you would probably encourage that. So if he had an issue with that, maybe he just didn't want to tell him that. Maybe he didn't have the gumption to be like, bruh, you be saying XYZ and this is a problem for me. I don't know. He was on his podcast. Maybe he felt like he was being manipulated to answer that in a certain way so he can continue to come on there. I don't know. I'm just speaking specifically to somebody coming in and having influence on a relationship in a way that causes harm to the relationship. But let me answer the question, right? Nobody deserves to live under the control of another human being. And that control is coming from a place of self-motivation. I agree. And manipulation. I agree. I think when I be talking about manipulation, I'm speaking of, like, I speak about positive manipulation and skillfully navigating the world or skillfully navigating to desired outcomes. Now, none of that intersects in my mind with when people use manipulation to do negative things or things that's harmful to the person. If you're manipulating something and it results in you winning and the other person losing, that would be from a place of self-motivation, and it's probably going to be negative for the other person. And in that case, I would agree. I don't think anybody deserves to just get manipulated to the point that it's to their detriment at the expense of your win. So I would agree under that, because a husband or the man in your life is supposed to navigate the world, manipulate reality in order for the benefit of the family. Supposed to be in a position where he sees everything from where the family needs to go. He tries to get them there. If he's separating himself and saying, hey, this is for me and everybody else is going to lose, I would say that's a bad leader, and nobody deserves to be underneath that. So I would agree.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and let me get to Ruth.
Yes. So we were talking about manipulation. It depends on the scenario. Women are men can be manipulated as well. So let's say a younger girl with an older guy, she can be easily manipulated. I know I was when I was younger. Um, Depending on like if you were like so in love with the person and you just don't have a lot of experience. So I don't think it's not something that I'm taking lightly when I answer this question. So I know what it's like. I know what it's like for somebody to like say things to you and you believe them, and it's to your detriment and it makes you feel low about yourself. And it's more prevalent than the men think. I mean, you guys, there, if you are a woman and you see how many times the woman says that, you'd be surprised how many men do manipulate. Not all men do, but it's a good little section that like to do that, because we're taught like get a man that's overly masculine. But then when you grow up, you realize like, hey, this guy's actually really emotional. He's not really like this demonstrating that real masculinity, because when behind closed doors, he's not strong, but he's trying to put a strong front on. So I know it's like to be in that scenario. But with this, I was just getting upset because just like we're giving her grace, let's give this guy grace too, because just because you're on social media influencing everybody does not give you a right to be in everybody's relationship. You can't say he's controlling and that's all you have. That snippet there. You don't know if he's uplifting her in private. He does not have to disclose the details of his relationship to you. So you take one little thing and you say, go free yourself. Blink twice if he's controlling you and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, you're just jumping down his throat. You could tell that they have biases in their mind, that they're just trying to make him a bad guy automatically. And look how they were attacking her. Like, you don't need to be there. You don't need to this. It's like you were triggered. So I think that we should have more of a conversation with this guy. I don't know if he was an employee, if he worked with them, or if they had influence over him because they how somebody do you a favor, like you got us together, and out of respect, I don't want to say too much. It's just like a power dynamic that was off, and they were taking advantage of the power dynamic, and that's why he didn't want to say too much about it. He don't want to hurt their feelings, but it's his relationship. And I agree with Trev, like people don't have to follow you on social media. It's not personal. I remember one time I had to unfollow all the realtors on my thing. Everybody in real life was like, what did I do to you? Right? It wasn't that deep. But if I'm going here for business and I got a bunch of realtors on my page, y'all taking up my Facebook friends. So I just unfollow all of them. They was copying anyway. So everybody had their reasons. They don't have to. You have my phone number, and it was people that was not speaking to me in real life. So stop with this whole you unfollowed me, that I hate you thing. It's not real. Like, if somebody really supports you and really love you and care about you, it don't matter if they follow you or unfollow you. Some people are manipulative and like, well, I'll show her, I'll unfollow her. Like, you just one follower. Like, calm down. But that's how I feel about it. I don't think people should manipulate women. It's very sensitive topic. A man might not hit you, but he might say a lot of stuff to break you down, and it's very sensitive topic for me. I'm glad I'm over that part of my life, and I have real relationships now, not a one-sided one.
I just want to add one more thing to that, because Ruth, I think you spot on. Women, like especially in this day and age, men and women do this, where you look at social media for a comparative analysis of your life, and you will judge based off of the things you see in other people do. If you following travel influencers and you're not traveling and you want to be traveling, that could lead to depression. So that doesn't necessarily mean that the good travel people are putting bad images in your mind. They're filling you with self-doubt and negative self-images. And if that's my woman following that, wants to do that, and we're not traveling, I would tell her, you gotta stop following that stuff. It's negatively affecting you from day to day. Even though what they're doing isn't negative, the way it's affecting you is.
Can I give you an example? A couple shows ago, I said no female friends. Like, if I have a right to say it back to you, like I'm making my rules too, then it's fine. It's even. But if that person's the only one making the rules, then you could say all that. But stop assuming that women are always getting beat up and mistreated in a situation. Like, listen to it more so before you judge.
All right. I'm gonna go to Darwin, but just to give a little bit of context. So they have a program, and the woman that was part of the program, I guess they wind up hooking up, and they got word that she unfollowed him. So they brought him on the show, either brought him up, and then they started to have a conversation with him. And if you listen to it, it is kind of cringy. He had no really good reason as to why he wanted her to unfollow them along with some other people. So if you really listen to it, I'm gonna add some more clips. It may not be able to paint the picture. I'm hoping it's able to paint the picture a little bit better than what's being described. But when I heard it, I was just like, yeah, he seems to be on a whole nother level as far as one is control. It has to be something that's deep within himself for him to exhibit the behavior that he was doing. But
You know what, Lapeef, that was obvious from the clip, and it's funny how people just didn't see that. That's funny.
I'm gonna play a little bit more of the clip, and then I'm gonna go to Darwin. So here we go.
How many people did you specifically request that she unfollows?
Honestly, originally it was everyone.
When you say everyone, what do you mean?
Like complete reset.
Of like everyone that she follows.
Yeah. Because we're in the social media game, so it's more so just to reset the algorithm.
Okay. Who else specifically did you request? Like a specific, because you said specifically David for sure.
Yeah.
It seems like the bigger issue was with what Donnie said, but you don't mind her following that. But outside of me, anyone else specifically that you name by name?
Yes, 4 people.
Like who?
Trap.
Okay.
Woody. Trap. Woody is actually the first person that I'm sorry. Woody is the first person.
Still following Trap.
Yeah, Trap, Woody.
Who's Woody? Who's Woody?
Woody.
The actor?
Wire, like dreads. Woody.
Woody. Oh, Mighty Woodard.
Woodard.
Yeah, I call him Woody.
Okay, she's not following my D. Yeah. Okay. Who else?
And Trap was the second.
Or the third. And there was one more.
Oh gosh, this one's gonna sound terrible. Should I say it?
Yeah, we're here now. Who?
Is it safe space?
Oh, safe, bro.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're not live on Instagram. We normally are, but we're not.
Everyone's like, no, I don't think
Who is it? You said everybody else.
Yeah, I don't think I should say it. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you don't have to say the person, but why don't you think you should say it?
A potential deal kind of thing.
A potential deal?
Yeah.
Oh, a deal that they're working on or you're working on with that person?
Yeah.
You're working on with
the
that
latter.
person?
Yeah.
Okay. So specifically me, Trap, my D, you don't want her following us?
No, not at all.
But why? Okay, what is it about me? I don't know about them, but what is it about me that you don't want your girl to follow me?
Number one, because you make sense, but at the end of the day, no, I'm literally telling you why. The opposite, right? Gotcha. But it's like to be able to think for yourself, right? We all have a purpose. I am super religious, if that makes sense. And we all have a purpose. For example, you're SDA.
I'm not.
You're not SDA anymore?
I've never been.
What day do you go to church?
On Saturday. But I'm not like Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay. So you go to church Saturday, but you're not Seventh-day Adventist?
No.
Okay. All right, cool. I grew up in an SDA kind of environment.
Make sure you hold the mic. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. and it was almost like you have to do things a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But I still don't understand. I'm saying there's a reason you're saying don't follow these people specific. Yeah. And I don't want to get into why those other three, right? But you're saying the reason, one is because you make sense, and two, I go to church on Saturday. Those are the only two that I got so far. Why she does not need to follow me specifically.
All right. For example, you pray every time at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
In the Bible, they had like 2 prayer times. In the Old Testament, they will offer incense twice a day. Mm-hmm. And depending on the time of the year, it's either 9 and 2:30. 10 and 2:30 or 9 and 3. Mm-hmm. And in the New Testament, they just offer prayers at those times. So I pray those two.
Why did you choose 9 a.m.?
I didn't choose it. It's in the Bible.
I'm sorry. Specifically 9 a.m. to pray
it says,
in the Bible?
Yeah, it says 9 a.m. I'll show it to you. It's cool. Okay, but the reason, are you saying, and that's not even something that I talk about publicly, or I never told her she used to pray twice a day or even go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time.
Where is she at today? Can she? We're gonna.
She's not allowed.
I want to see her. Can she come to the studio?
No, she's not allowed. She can't follow me. This isn't. Here's the thing. You're not wrong. I'm not saying.
I don't want to come off too.
Yeah, bro, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because how you feel is how you feel, and I'm not offended. I don't want you to think that I'm offended at this situation at all. Okay. But I'm just trying to understand, because I haven't gotten a logical reason outside of all the people, unless you think there's something that's going on with us, or that we have some sort of history, or she likes me in some way. And that's the only thing I can really think of.
All right, go ahead, Dar. I know it's a little longer. The other video not that long, but go ahead, Darwin. That was a little bit more context.
Yeah, it's obvious that he don't disagree. He don't agree with this dude. He just don't have the balls to articulate himself on his panel in front of him. There's a lot of men like that I've experienced in my life. They feel more comfortable talking shit about you or being open about how they feel about you when they're not around you. And I think all men on this panel can attest to that. It's just something I really can't explain. I'm not gonna say it's an alpha or beta, but it's something that got something to do with his maybe his ability to defend himself if things was to get rough or something like that. And he clearly sounds like the wimpy type. So, you know what I'm saying? He probably would run in the face of a confrontation or something like that. So I could see he was nervous. He was hesitant. His words were very unclear and short. And he wasn't giving any context behind it. He clearly don't want his girlfriend to follow or even be involved with any of the guys that he listed, because he simply don't agree with them particularly. I wouldn't say he did agree with the message. It kind of makes me feel like that. He just don't want to be brutally honest. That's why he kept asking questions about what he believed in the Bible. He don't believe it. He just don't have the balls, the testicles to just say, hey, look, I don't agree with you. And I don't think it's manipulation. I think it's a thing of an indoctrination. What do you call it? Indoctrination. I wouldn't say it's manipulation. I would say, oh, he knows his woman. He knows his girl. And he knows she's easily influenced or impressioned by these type of people, these type of creators. So what do I do? What can I do? I can't compete with them. I can't articulate how I feel in my ideology and my principles myself. What can I do? I have to tell her to just refrain from listening to and following them all together. But I don't know his name, but I'll wear your balls for you. Pause. I'll grow some balls for you and say it for you. He couldn't stand up for himself, and it's clear as day. It's nothing about manipulation. I mean, if it's my girl or something like that, and I'm supposed to be able to be protector of her, protection is not only in the confines of providing the house or, jumping in front of a bullet when somebody is also protecting what comes into her mind. and what she sees as a reality or what she believes in as principle. So I ain't gonna be long with it. I just put it like that.
Just so you know, he did ask that question. I wish I could have played the whole entire video, but it was just too long to break down. So I tried to take some parts of it just so you guys can understand. But he was asked if he's ever gotten into a fight, and he said no because he don't know how to fight. He said he wouldn't win a fight. So I think he was spot on with that. Hold on, Marcus, before you go, let me let Mila go, and then we'll get to you. Go ahead.
I'm answering the question about manipulation or about the clip in general. Or
Both. You can kind of mix it up. Both.
Well, looking at the clip, I wouldn't, based on everything I've heard, I wouldn't even look at this as manipulation. I wouldn't say this girl is trapped and get out. I wouldn't say that. From my perspective, it seems like the man do not like them people. And he just don't know how to say something they doing, whether it's their religious beliefs, how they talk, what they post, whatever. I don't know who these people are. He ain't fucking with it. And his girl is maybe reading it too deeply because people take social media so serious and it's really not that serious. And I honestly think, like, why are you bringing somebody on a panel to ask them why they unfollowed you? Like, who cares? Like, and then he like, well, I'm not offended. You is offended, because if you wasn't offended, you wouldn't have brought these people up here asking them why you unfollowed. Like, we is grown, and why is y'all going through looking to see who unfollowed you? That don't make no sense to me. I'm over here listening to this, and the whole thing don't make sense. Like, do y'all like each other? Because do you like her? Like, what's going on here? That was just my perspective. I can't believe it, Jesus. It just didn't make sense to me. It's just none of this whole thing made sense to me, honestly, from a logical perspective. But as far as the whole manipulation thing, getting on that, I honestly, and I don't know, I'm not trying to offend nobody, but I honestly think people get manipulated when they don't love themselves. Like, when you don't know who you are and you're like dealing with low self-esteem, like, predators, they can spot that. They spot it. They see a weakling, and they take that and run with it. And I get, like, we all been in a situation where, somebody may get off on us one time, but for people who are constantly being manipulated, I just feel like there's some inner work that needs to be happening so that you're not constant, like, it's some low self-esteem, like, somewhere, some trauma, some low self-esteem, some inner child work that needed to probably happen so that you're not constantly taken advantage of. And if somebody takes advantage of you or says something at one time, believe them the first time. I don't understand, like, women who like be getting manipulated for years. That never has made sense to me. And I get love is all great, but I just don't feel like you should ever put yourself in a detriment for somebody else. Like, I'm really big on self-preservation, and maybe that's why I be single. I don't know. But I'm just never finna let nobody, like, treat me no way on the pretenses of love. I just love myself too much. And I think if both men and women learn to, like, love themselves more, I think that it wouldn't be so much discourse in these relationships, especially when it comes to manipulation or people taking advantage. Now, I do think, like, sometimes some people need to be positively manipulated to, like, be successful or to reach a certain goal. Because some people lack that motivation or they lack that push. But if that's enhancing your life, cool. But whenever it's negative, like, why is it taking us years to identify this? You know what I'm saying? And if it is, I don't think that's even a reflection on the person that's manipulating. It's a reflection on you because you're allowing yourself to be manipulated. Can't nobody manipulate somebody who is not allowing themselves to be manipulated.
So when you say women been manipulated for years, and then you also say you think it's a form of not having self-love, is it safe to say that what you're saying is, for years women haven't loved themselves?
Yeah, I'm saying it. Like, if you are a woman and let's say you was in a relationship for 5 years and you saying, like, their relationship, you was being manipulated throughout that whole relationship, that's why you ended up staying with him, you done had a family, he been lying, selling you dreams or whatever, in those 5 years, you did not love yourself. Because how did we get to this point? Like, that never has made sense to me. Or men that be like, oh, she manipulated me and now I done got her pregnant. How we get here? I just, that has never made sense to me. Maybe I don't have kids. I ain't been in no relationship, so maybe that's why it don't make sense to me. But it just ain't never made sense to me.
So till this day, you don't understand how a woman cannot show self-love.
No, I'm saying, like, I don't understand how you are in something for so long being manipulated. I can understand, like, that first time you get manipulated, he sold you some type of dream. You believed it. Why is we still believe in the dreams? They not coming to fruition. When we're believing stuff and you people telling you stuff and it's not happening, and now you internalizing that. Now your self-worth steady going down. You thinking you not good enough. You thinking you not this. Like, I'm not understanding. I don't understand how that manifests. I don't understand how that happens over and over again. Like, I don't, my brain can't understand it. I don't get it.
Can I interject real quick? It's called Stockholm syndrome. It's called when you are in an environment where you have become accustomed to being abused. Just for example, on this panel, when we heard the clip, a lot of people were like, oh, well, he had every right to do that. And it was like, well, what right did he have to come into her life and try to control her social media? Is he married to her? Like, where is he going with this? And he wasn't even able to list where he was going with his control. And a lot of people was like, yeah, well, he vetted the wrong girl because he manipulated in the mind. Yeah, he read it the right girl because he wants to manipulate her. He wants a girl that he could say, "Hey, unfollow this person," and she'll do it without a reason. How about he didn't even give them no reason? I'm sure he probably didn't give her much of a good reason besides, oh, he's a different religion. We're all different religions. So in that case, she don't need to be following anybody. I'm definitely mixed up.
That sounds like she was
cooperating. Religion. What'd you say, Darren?
The scenario that you just gave didn't sound like manipulation. It sounded like he asked her to do something, she did it. That's called.
And if she ain't gonna do it, she ain't have to do it.
Right, but my thing is, what's manipulative is what was the reason behind it? Is he jealous? If he's jealous and insecure, that's a personal problem. You can't push your insecurities onto me because you think that this man is fine and you think that you're not good enough and you can't compete with this man. That's a personal problem. Like you said, he didn't have the balls. So why is he pushing that? That's manipulation 101.
All right, hold on. Let me slide in. Hold on. I'm going to go to Sweeney right after this.
And pick who they manipulate, and how do you know when they're genuinely interested?
Oh, there's always a profile to a manipulator. I'll give you some common reasons how they can tell if you're easy to abuse, manipulate, or exploit. Number one is if you're codependent. Another one, if you have low self-esteem. If you discount the positives, that's another thing. If they compliment you and you minimize yourself. If you're a catastrophic thinker, whether you magnimize things or you minimize things. If you operate from a place of low self-worth. If you shy away from just general conversations, those are the things that they pay attention to. If you have trauma, that's another thing. And if you are vocal about your trauma, if you have trauma from previous relationships, if you have negative experiences in your childhood and you are vocal about that, they can see that. They can see that in the way you speak, in the way you behave, in the way you interact with people. That is the easiest way to identify if they can manipulate you. If there are certain qualities about yourself that you find low, if you have a lack of self-confidence or anything like that, they're going to take that weakness that you have and they're going to exploit that to use it against you. That's the way that they can tell if you're a person that they can manipulate.
All right, go ahead, Sweeney, and then we'll go to Casey.
My question is, how do we know any of this about her? We don't know what he told her. Now, I get now what he did on that panel. I'm in complete alignment with what Bruiser said. He didn't want to ruffle any feathers on that panel. We remember when he tried to get him to reveal the fourth person, he said, I don't know if I should reveal that person. That lets me know that he didn't want to have that conversation publicly with them and about them. And he didn't want to be confrontational. Probably for the reason that Bruiser said, probably for a business reason, who the fuck knows? But what we don't know is the conversation he had with her. Because we're saying that he manipulated, but maybe he did tell her, hey, look, what these kind of people are saying to you just ain't right. They you know what I mean? That's not in alignment with what we believe in, our belief systems, or whatever the hell he told her not to follow. She listened. That's the. And then they tried. Casey, real quick, did they? Or I don't know if it was Casey or Ruth who said it, but were they asking that woman on that panel, like his woman, blink twice if you were in trouble and all that shit? Was they doing that on the show?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it played on the clip, but during the show, after hearing him speak and hearing everything he had to say, they compared it to one of those situations where if she was there, they would kind of say, blink twice if you're in trouble, because it almost seems as though as he was controlling and she might have been in a situation that she probably needed some help getting out of.
Yeah, they were a problem. Now he may be very I don't want to call him bitch made because that's just jacked up, but in regards to how he addressed those men in the room, because I'll tell you straight up why I don't like you. But no problem. Like, nigga, I don't like what you have to say. I don't like why you pray. I don't like the Bible verses that you read. I don't like what you preach. That's why I don't want her following you. Obviously, he didn't want to do that. But if they was willing to say some shit like that to her, and they was trying to drill him on that, and they was trying, like, it seemed very catty. And I could see why I wouldn't want my wife to be listening to nobody like that either.
But Sweeney, it wasn't even like they were giving her business advice. They were trying to give her relationship advice, like they were the experts on that. So for that reason alone, he could be like, you know what? Since they want to interfere.
But he's the one that has to marry this woman. And he probably don't want her embracing that ideology that they're pushing.
Yeah, the only thing I can go off of is the reasons that he gave. And it sounded like he was leaning towards their ideology as far as religion or whatever the hell, because he was like, do you pray twice a day or what do you do that? Like, it started to sound like he didn't agree with the shit that they talk about over there.
But they said something about no sex too, something like that.
I don't know, but I would say that shit, she listened. And I think he probably was very vocal with her and talked to her about why he didn't want them following her. And he even said, and the reality is that to a degree, I've also unfollowed people or things when I didn't want to have that type of energy in my life. Where if I don't want to talk about this particular topic anymore, or listen to this particular subject matter, I unfollow everybody that has anything to do with it because it negatively or it may have a negative effect on my life. So that might have been what he was noticing, was that, hey, look, there's some things that's going on with us aligning with this type of rhetoric that we're seeing online, and I don't think it's good for us. So I think it's time for us to reset. Because he did say that also. He said reset the algorithm. I've done that plenty of times where I was like, damn, I'm tired of seeing the same shit, and literally had to start unfollowing and unsubscribing to certain shit. That way I can reset my algorithm to go in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the clip in the back chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat so you guys can watch it. But something's wrong with brother, man. Something's wrong with brother. Maybe y'all don't have the context. So, like, he brought up Marty, and some people may know who Marty is.
I have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah, he got locks, and he teaches people about Instagram and being an influencer on Instagram and how to post and so forth. And that's all he posts about. So when he said that he didn't want her to follow him, I'm like, well, what is Marty doing? You know, Marty came to the ATL show before it started and kind of chopped it up because he's ATL. But Marty is not that type of person. So when he said to unfollow Marty, I just knew that he just wanted to have control. And then if you paid attention to what he said that David and Marty were people that were promoting to think for yourself. So it was almost like he didn't want her thinking for herself. He wanted complete control over her mind and what it is that she was consuming. That's what I got from it. That's why I think you guys have to watch the entire video. And again, I tried to paint the pictures the best I could with these clips, but maybe not doing the justice. Let's go ahead, ma'am.
He really does sound like he's trying to control her. Don't get me wrong. It does sound like that, but in general, we keep just jumping to conclusions, and that's the issue. And sometimes that's all you get is that one little moment to catch it. Because that is something
Well, they was based on what he was saying. So I couldn't really, again, it was an hour and 10, 15 minute video, and I couldn't really play the whole thing. But if you listen to it, I think you guys may think differently. Something ain't right.
I heard that part.
Well, yeah, when he said that whole you thinking for yourself type thing, I heard something different. Again, I think it was tied into what he believes religiously, where he's like, I don't believe in just doing whatever you want to. That's what I heard, like, or just going with the flow, moving however you want to move. It sounds like he wants them to move in a direction that's far more structured or what have you. I don't fucking know, but that wasn't what I got from when he said.
But when they was asking specifically what it was that he disagreed with, he couldn't answer that. So he didn't really have anything that he didn't disagree with. He just didn't want them following him because she seemed to be consuming or paying attention to them. He wanted attention on him.
And I'm a firm believer that you can't control nobody. I think that I wouldn't go to the extreme and say he's trying to control her. And I might be hearing it different. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm hearing is he's trying to control the things that enter into her mind that could influence or shape the way she sees things or views things. And I don't think that's controlling a person, because at the end of the day, she still got a choice at the end of the day, whether she want to receive that, make those changes, unfollow these people, or go through this list of things that he's trying to instruct her to do for the best interest of the relationship.
And I can understand
Can
that.
I interject?
Real quick, I can understand that, Bruiser, but they was seeking clarity and understanding as to what it was specifically. And when he couldn't answer that, then it's just like you just basically want her to unfollow these people just because. Now, if he can explain himself so they can understand, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But the fact that he couldn't come up with anything, and then he kept trying to,
it could be the other side, which is the most embarrassing side, which is the list of guys that he wanted her to unfollow is the guys that he believed may appear attractive to her or her taste, or he don't want her to. It could be a jealousy issue.
And when he said he couldn't fight, he never had a fight in his life. That's
So how do men feel when a woman goes through?
Because I've heard of, I've had friends, had brothers and stuff where their girlfriends' wives told them to unfollow certain people because they didn't like how she looked, or they were too friendly, or she liking all of your pictures. I want you to unfollow her. You watch her stuff too much. Unfollow her. Like that's embarrassing for a man to do that. You know what I'm saying? On a podcast that's going to be showed to millions of views, and he probably trying to protect his insecurity. So it could be that side, but the other side, I'm still sold on the fact that he don't have any balls enough to stand up to these guys that he don't agree with as far as their principles or ideology.
Yeah, that's something that I got, because he didn't even want to mention the fourth person because of business reasons, whatever the hell that was. So that lets me know
that sounded fake.
He just sounded awkward. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Trev, and let's go to Kate, and then Ali had something to say. Yes, Trev, hold tight. Go to Casey, then come back to Trev, then Ali. Go ahead, Casey.
I feel like I lost some brain cells with this situation. Like, no lie. Number one, for me, it goes through the vetting process. When you picking a woman, you should pick a woman that has the same ideologies as you, who has the same outlook on life as you, who has the same long-term goals and what you guys are trying to accomplish. Any woman, grown woman, wife, mother, kids, no kids, should be of influence to her society and to her family. She shouldn't be easily influenced by social media and other things going on. So the fact that he picks someone that he feels like he has to babysit on what she's taking in mentally on social media is just idiotic to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. Any man that's leading his life, his own life, his family's life, should not be spending time scrolling through social media looking to who his girlfriend, his fiance, and his wife is following and what she's studying and what she's doing. That should be the last and least of his worries. I'm so confused because this seems so petty and small-minded. Your wife is going to be of influence to your children. Your girlfriend is going to be to influence of your nieces in your family, the girls in the community, young women around her, whether married, single, dating, whatever. You should be, as a man, you should be looking for a woman who is not easily influenced, even outside of social media. So the conversation to me is absolutely ridiculous that any man would be on a podcast talking about who his girlfriend, partner, wife, whoever, who she's following, what she's taking in. That should be the last of your worries because you got the world to worry about. So how the hell you end up with some woman that you worried about what man she like? It's such a petty conversation to me, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it's absolutely crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna land it there.
It's crazy, and we didn't take an account of. I think it was I don't want to go to extreme to say disrespect, but somewhere close to that, for a man to question how decisions are in engagement between him and this woman and what she should do and what she agreed for me to do. Like if a man, I'm chilling with a whole bunch of brothers and they say, well, yeah, I told my girl to unfollow you because I didn't want her to follow you. I'm not gonna sit here and question, man, and say, oh, why? I'm like, okay, then that's your woman. I got my woman. We do our things. Maybe it's something internal. Unless you wanted to invite that information to me, I'm not gonna sit here and be I'm not gonna interrogate you on the decisions that was made that she had already agreed to, because it's really none of my business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he probably got millions of freaking followers. Losing that one follower is not gonna hurt the dude. But this thing about who you should pick, picking somebody who's already like on the same principle ideology, I don't really tell the guys I talk to do that, because then they're gonna limit their options on who they can get. Because if you just focus on a woman who's submissive and cooperative, then anything that she believes in or anything that she follows, she's willing to adjust those things for you as a submissive mate and a suitable wife. So you don't necessarily have to be, she don't necessarily have to check all the boxes. There's some things that are gonna be that you're gonna want her to check, but for the most part, her believing in a certain way or a principle or stuff, those things could be adjusted and changed, given that the man is able to articulate why and put some context behind why she should follow this way. Now, hey, look, I want to marry. I just want to make sure we're equally yoked. So when we get into a relationship, we're good. I get it. You've been living your life this way. Your lifestyle has been anchored down in this way to believe. But if you want to be with me, are you willing to make these adjustments? I'm willing to compensate you for them and explain to you why they should change so we can be able to fit and be compatible for each other.
Darwin, I respect that completely, and I do agree with you with that point. But at the same time, it's the same reason why men go for women who have fathers, who have a relationship with their fathers. There are certain things when it comes to the foundation of the woman that you're going to pick for your life, the woman who's going to be your wife, the woman that you want to have a long-term relationship with, and the woman that you trust to be the steward of your children day in and day out. There is going to be some foundational things that woman is going to have to come with, and that you're not going to have time to re-raise her to be. So I agree with you with a woman being moldable and being submissive and being understanding to the man that she's agreeing to follow. Completely understand what point you're making with that. But at the same time, when men are vetting their lifelong partner, their lifelong wife, a person that is going to be with them, when that man is spending 12 to 16 hours a day away from home, he has to know in his heart that he trusts that woman over his family, over his children, to follow his plan, to follow his program without a shadow of a doubt. It can't be, oh, maybe I need to check in and make sure that she is okay and she's strong enough and she has the foundation that I've had, you know what I'm saying, that I've had to spend time with laying with her, you have to know that she's going to come with it and that she's adequate alone, to stand alone. Even if she become widowed, to be with your children and to carry on your legacy without you. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you, but I also stand firm in that as well.
I think it also answers some other question that you had before about why these women stand in these relationships or easily manipulative. And that, I think what you said about men picking women who come from the father because they don't have the ability to use discernment and right judgment to get in these relationships. But if you get the approval from the father, then he knows that he's pushing his daughter from cover to cover, and his daughter's life is in the best hands. So I think what men struggle with is picking women who they don't listen to their fathers. You know, they're in the streets, they're loose, and they want to lean in on their own understanding, and they start building their own ideology and principle. And we can all attest that most of the time that's not even aligned with what their father was trying to portray to them. So it makes it even harder for the man to come in and try to see if she's suitable for compatibility on a relationship level as far as marriage.
So let's
well, let me say real quick. My father has been in my life for my whole life, and he's taught me to be very independent and not need a man. Now, hold up, let me finish because I waited. Now, do I want one? Yes. Need? You know, if I want to have children, I could, you know, I mean, it depends, but I'm coming to the table with some things, and I don't necessarily, he's taught me so much wisdom, and I don't need you to come in and teach me nothing. I can help you, and we could teach each other. Like, it might be some things like, okay, you might have a faster way of doing this, and you might want to teach me, that's fine. But do I need you to do that? If you're my partner and I choose you, yes, that's one of my needs, right? But as an independent single woman, I'm fine. I'm not out here lost in the world. I'm
But you
not
are
lost.
alone and single.
So y'all be talking like women are lost without a man, and if she is not lost, then she won't find a man, or a man won't find her because she's not lost. Like, it's okay for a woman to have her
Taught you to be lonely.
Hold on, Darwin.
It's okay for a woman to have her shit together and bring something to the table, have her own ideologies, and they might be different from you, but that's in everything. Ain't no relationship going to be perfect unless you find you a dummy and absolutely a puppet, a slave. And when you fall on hard times, it's going to be hard for that woman to have your back and be able to find the tools, because she's looking for you. She's looking for you to guide.
Hold on, Darwin.
So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I agree with submitting to your husband once you lay down a covenant before God on you all's mission. But these seem to be single people trying to control one another while they're screwing. I don't know if they're even married or not. And it's a lot of single people telling people, oh, you need to do this, you need to submit. Find a wife first and find out how hard it is to build that covenant, which, Casey, I'm sure you know, you had to work hard on. Y'all wasn't perfectly, you didn't know everything that he knew, and everything you knew, you grew to do that. You all were courting together for years. So during that courtship, you all had to compromise, and a man, let's not ice each other out because, oh, you Christian, you Muslim, and you this and you that. And like you said, Darwin, a real woman gonna follow her husband and her man, so she's willing to adjust in those areas.
Hold on. Let me play this last clip and then we'll go to Darwin.
Control isn't love. I mean, I grew up in high school knowing women or girls who dated grown men because they told them what to do, and that's so sexy and blah, blah, blah. And there's a difference between establishing dominance and establishing leadership. That's not control, right? That's not fathering you in a way. because that's often what happens, or mothering you in a way. Like, we can be respectful of each other and respectful of each other's ideas, but I'm not your father and I'm not your mother, and I don't need you all to myself. Someone who needs you all to themselves. And I'm not talking about the cute, I need you all to myself. I'm talking about
my wife needs me all.
Yeah. I desire to have a situation in which I need him all to myself.
She need all of me, brother.
But I believe that man and woman should understand that control is not love. Control is danger. Isolation is not love. Isolation is insecurity. And there's a difference between being controlled and being led, being controlled and being taught. And when somebody is forcing you to make decisions that you would not have made otherwise, versus sharing a perspective of why you may want to look at something different, that is not love whatsoever. And it can often start that way. And then, now what happens if you don't listen? What happens to the relationship? What happens inside the home? And a lot of women and men feel like they have to do what they have to do to weather this storm. Or you might feel like you have this man who's providing for you, and you need to be able to be in a comfortable position to build your business, or what is supposed to happen for you is supposed to happen for you. Don't let anybody be out here controlling you. Say something to somebody, right? Speak up about it and get out of that situation as early as possible. Because, and this is no longer about you, but conversations like this, people with certain mindsets, it does escalate. It does become more serious. You do lose more of yourself, and ultimately it becomes physical, and then the worst just can escalate beyond that. But we got to let people be grown-ups. And I believe there's something equally powerful. I believe what's more powerful than attempting to control somebody is allowing people to be grown-ups and seeing what they would do without your interference.
If you don't mind me asking, Donnie, do you feel like you're easy to be led?
By who?
In general.
You couldn't lead me. But yeah, I do feel like I'm easy to be led. I'm led every day. David leads me here in this. Everything he tells me to do, I do it. In a relationship, I'm led by my friends. I'm led by my mother. I'm led by people who I trust to lead me. I am led, for sure. And we also have to dispel that narrative. A woman who has an opinion, a woman who is intelligent, and a woman who is not afraid to demonstrate both doesn't equate to a woman who can't be led. People are led by people who they admire, love, and respect, right? When the advice makes sense, when the leadership is coming from a pure place, when the environment feels safe, we are okay being led. And a man understands that he never has to say, I lead you. He just shows up, and it's leadership.
Ooh, she was throwing shots at this nigga the whole time.
All right, go ahead, Dara.
That's crazy.
Hell no, I wouldn't want my wife following that shit. Not with the way she talking. I'd have been like, yeah, I'll follow that bullshit.
So my question is, are those two, is that couple Christian? Or believe in God, the scriptures, the Bible?
Who you talking about?
The couple that's on there. Apparently it looks like that dude, David, is her husband.
No, they just got a show together. David's married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he did ask them that. One of the questions he asked was, how do they deal with the fact that people in the comments look at them as being a couple, and she had to break it down for him. He was just trying to understand how it was when it comes to their approach.
Okay. So
when I heard her say, I'm sorry, you go ahead. You were saying something, Darwin. I thought you were
No, go ahead. You got something to say? Go ahead. I mean, what I was going to ask you before.
Okay, go ahead.
What I was going to ask you before the video was, you said you was independent, you bring something to the table. Who's at the other end of the table?
Thousands of men that are fine and beautiful and handsome, and they're all oh my God. Do you really want to know? But I'm just saying that's well. Listen,
No,
it
I
depends on
don't
the
even want to
day.
know no more. I know
Honestly,
enough.
that's
But
all you. That's all. Listen, I'm saying as far as in general to any woman, that's at the end of any woman's table because she brings so much to the table that she is the table. She. Why do you think that you're even coming to a table being able to eat? Is because somebody birthed you and nurtured you, which would have been a woman. So when you invite a woman to a table, usually, you
I can invite
understand
her to the
the
table. She's
worth of the woman that you're inviting, number one. And because you got a mother who is a woman. But one of the things that I heard the lady say, and that I agree with, she said that you can't control is dangerous. Okay. You can't make anybody do anything. You can influence them, you can show them the benefits, but if you think that you can control another human being, you're playing a dangerous game. You actually should be by yourself, and you typically might be by yourself for life if you think you can control a woman. You can give one what you're supposed to do, what a good leader does. They show the benefits, they provide a plan, and they give the option to either follow it. If you're going to be in this program, you have the option to follow, it's not really no control. As far as like, okay, say for instance, people who are on drugs, you can't make a crackhead stop smoking crack. You got to take them to rehab. They got to go to rehab a few times. They got to decide within their own mind they're going to be doing something. So that should tell you right there you can't control a woman. A woman will play a role for so long, but she talking to her friends like, yeah, I can't wait till he control. You think you controlling somebody? Listen, go to your grandmother who was married for 25 years to the grandfather who was cheating and stayed for 25 years to her. She gonna say something like, so she might say, yeah, I stayed, but I saved this penny, and she plotting. So you can't be manipulative and think that you're gonna control people and they're not gonna manipulate you back. You playing a dangerous game, and usually when you're in a relationship, you're mirroring one another. So if I'm playing a game where I follow this guy because this woman, because she attractive and I'm insecure, that's manipulative. That's instead of me saying, hey baby, I don't feel good about my boobs, I want a boob job, let's work on that. Or let's work out, baby, I need to get in the gym, I'm overweight, I need to lift the whatever. That's what the conversation should be, to address the insecurity versus, because you're gonna find somebody finer than you. You have to be secure. That's what's fine. That's what makes you the finest person in a relationship. When you feel so confident that can't nobody touch me, can't no other woman touch what I do. Can't no other woman. I don't care how bad she is. I don't care how big her butt is. She can't touch mine. So that's how it has to be.
I mean, I was just giggling off the fact that she said you couldn't lead me. That was crazy. For dude, I'm really sold on the idea, and it's just my opinion, that he is a manipulator. And I say that because of two things. One, he's trying to eliminate people around her. That's the first step into being an effective manipulator, is to eliminate any outside influence. And for two, just by his demeanor, just the way, just a lot of the things that he said, I don't think that he's going to get results any other way, right? It doesn't seem like he could stand on something and get what he needs done. Like for him, I know a lot of people like that. Manipulation is their default because that's the best way they get by, right? It's the most effective thing that they can do to get what it is they want. And they really behave like that. Like for him, he's so timid and all of that. Nobody's going to pay attention to this guy. Nobody's going to listen to this guy. He's going to have to manipulate to get anything out of people. That's just what I would say, because I couldn't see him getting what he wanted any other way. The only thing I would say about the crew is, does anybody else find it to be strange that they felt like they needed to hash this out publicly. And I understand his responses were crazy, right? And most grown men won't really behave like that, but that would be awkward as hell. Like, you're on a podcast and they're saying, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. And they're really putting him on a spot. Like, that to me is kind of strange. I think it could have been something that was discussed behind the scenes and hashed out. I don't think that they really need to put him on a public platform and shame him like that. Does anybody else think that was crazy?
You know how you lose your
I
woman?
felt like they were.
You want to know how you lose your woman and how he gonna lose his? Going on that show, doing what he just did. Because ain't no way in hell I don't went up there and try to justify myself to these fools. If I don't like y'all, I don't like y'all. Ain't no way in hell I went on this show and I stood 10 toes down. See, now here's what's going to happen. She's going to look at him and say, why didn't you just tell him all that shit you told me?
Yep. I agree.
That's how he's going to lose her. You're like, you didn't go there and defend your shit at all. Now I'm gonna go
if
back.
You're a big dog, right, Sweeney? If you're a big dog, stay with your shit.
Yeah.
Timid and I'd be like, nigga, I don't like the shit you talk about, bro. I don't like what you talk about. And you need to get old girl, because if she say one more thing to me, we gonna have a problem up in this mud. Because I don't like the way you motherfuckers talk. Y'all be over there on some free spirit, try y'all love shit, and I don't like it. That's why I don't want her following you, motherfucker. And I would have.
Sweetie, I agree with that, but it depends on what type of woman he got. Right? It depends on what type of woman he got. If he really got her already and she's manipulated, he could go back home and be like, see, this is part of my master plan. I told you they would behave like that. No. I'm telling you, it depends on what type of female he got. It depends.
But if somebody was to ask a question to everybody on this panel, y'all think God is a manipulator?
I don't think God is a manipulator, but you follow God. So when you following your man should be following God. And God is a loving God. God gives you options. The option of choice, a choice. He doesn't say follow me, don't follow the devil. He allows you to. Well, he does say that, but he gives you the option. He doesn't kill the devil and slay the devil and say it's no more evil. No, he's not a controlling God like that. He gives you the option to follow. He says,
so what did he do? What did this man do different?
Because you really want to attack that sentence, so let me finish it. You're saying that God said, yes, he follow me. He says, I want you to follow me. Yes, you should follow me, but he does not eliminate evil from this earth. He gives us the option to fornicate. He gives us the option to drink and be lustful and be a gluttonous. Okay, so he gives us those options, but he also gives us guidance, loving guidance, and he leads us with love. He doesn't lead us with control. And
so what's the difference between
and he also gives us repercussions. So if you're in a relationship and you say, hey, I don't like this, I want you to do it this way, you give them repercussions, which means you remove yourself. If it's to that extent where that person is bringing you down and detrimental to you and they're not listening, you remove yourself. You don't try to control that person and change that person. You find somebody who already on the same wavelength as you.
Okay, so instead of the lecture, if anybody else want to lecture, please don't lecture. I'm just asking simple questions. Y'all said that God was a manipulator. I'm trying to figure out what is the difference between. What is the difference between? Okay, so now I'll let you speak. You gotta let me say something. I'm not gonna be long-winded and lecture you. What is the difference between what this man did by asking his woman to unfollow people, asking this woman to do X, Y, and Z? What is the difference between the scriptures that say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't follow these people, don't intermingle with these people, don't read from this book, don't follow these people who sit on and preach and worship other God? What is the difference between what God says in the scriptures and what this man told his woman to do?
I think God is the ultimate manipulator, and I don't think that anything is a difference. I don't think there's a difference. It's a consequence. It ain't like he held her hostage. Now, I've been wanting to answer this or say something about this for a long time. I don't know these people, and I'm judging it specifically off of this clip, right? I 100% agree with Sweeney. And bro, you're not about to question me about shit in my motherfucking house. That's what we not gonna do. As a matter of fact, it's disrespectful for you to even try that shit. Like, I know he ain't never been in no fight, but bro, you're not like, she doesn't have to follow you on social media. Nobody gotta follow you on social media. I don't have to do anything, and I don't have to explain this to you. And it's crazy that you would even poke your chest out enough to question me about this and then demand reasons. And nigga, I said so. That's the end of the story. If you want to talk to me about something else, we can talk about it, but this conversation is over. I don't got nothing else to say to you about this, bro. Like, she ain't following you, and I'm not about to follow you. Now what? You gonna kick me out the podcast?
Nope.
That shit crazy, bro. And I don't know that man to cast all this judgment. I'm just basing it strictly on that one clip, right? So he might be an excellent person. I'm not trying to cast aspersions to him or none of that. But bro, when you get people in a room where you have control of the room, because essentially what they was doing was manipulation. You got this man in a room where 4 or 5 people 100% agree with you. You drill him down and painted him into a corner. It was clear as day he was uncomfortable in that position. And he didn't, like Bruiser said, he ain't had the balls to stand up for himself and be like, man, shut the fuck up talking to me. Like, I did, and I said what I did. And then on top of that, to a woman that's easily influenced by social media, you then went on a campaign to make it seem like Buddy ass controlling her and she's in danger. And then she gonna end up getting beat just because she unfollowed you. That was extremely problematic to do.
Yeah.
That's extremely problematic, bro. Like, at the end of the day, that's crazy. Huh?
You said manipulate. So the definition is control or influence a person or situation cleverly, unfairly, and unscrupulously. So in that case, God is not a manipulator, but the devil is. Because God always give you the option to know and choose for yourself, give you all the information, but the devil, he binds you into contracts without you even knowing it. So yes, I agree with you that they were controlling and manipulating the conversation. They were projecting what they were doing onto him. And they might have caught him and know his style, or that he might really be a manipulator. But I think that they were doing all of the control and manipulation because they were like unfairly putting him on the spot and just trying to demand answers. And if they didn't like your answer, they was digging in and like, why are you not explaining to me? Why this and that? Why that? And that's what people that are controlling do. And they also, last thing I'm gonna say is, they sound like when you're married and you have single friends that want to like interfere in your relationship and they want to influence and control you. So they're just proving his point, which is why I'm on his side, because the way you guys reacted shows that you are not a good influence, because you didn't have to go that far. And you didn't show by a good example how to handle a situation. You got to pull somebody to the side in private, not publicly embarrass them.
So I just want to add this caveat for the manipulation for God. When I'm talking about God being a manipulator, manipulated nothing into something, matter into no matter. Like, manipulation isn't just tricking somebody. So the definition I'm working from is skillful. He skillfully created this world. The skill that it takes to create a human body, the organisms that exist within it, that is all the manipulation of the highest degree, because it's an intelligent design. So that's where I'm coming from with it. I'm not saying
manipulated things in the world, but not people. That's why he gave us the free will.
Okay, so if nobody can substantiate that this woman didn't have an option, whether or not she wanted to agree with this man to unfollow or follow whoever on Instagram, or she wasn't aware that she had the option, then nobody can say that this woman was manipulated.
Apparently they broke up.
What's that breaking news?
Shit, if somebody in the chat was telling me that they follow their podcast religiously and that they broke up.
Oh.
And that's what they wanted. They wanted her out of there because they felt like that she shouldn't be there. They get to judge and control and manipulate somebody else's relationship. But he could have just said, hey, I would like you not to. And then she could have said yes or no. But who knows if he made her. He could have just proved his point. He could have had a really good case. These are reasons 1 through 40 why you shouldn't. We don't know that.
All right, we gotta transition. No, Mila, you came off the mic. What, you want to say something? You good? Okay. What's going on, Sham Monet? Welcome. Good to have you. You guys just tuning in. Welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. Make sure we hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and get into our next topic. Hey, I'm feeling after that one. That was a good one.
So, real quick, so the lady who told me about them breaking up, she said that the dude agreed to go on the podcast and talk about their breakup, which actually further aligns with what my thought process is that there's some type of incentive or financial incentive that's causing him that caused him not to want to ruffle any feathers or offend or whatever. So he was so timid because of that, because he still wants to be there. He still wants to be in that group and be a part of that and be able to be on that podcast and all that other shit. That's why
and pay his bills.
Right. That pretty much solidified my thought process on why he was so timid, because me, ain't no way in hell they ain't the person out here that'll make me feel that way. But shit, maybe he did. And like I said, that's probably the reason why she looked at him, probably why they broke up. She looked at that and said, "You ain't gonna defend yourself for these
Yeah. Well, so they both met. I guess they have some type of I don't know what it is. They have their own community, and if you're part of that community, you get to come to the actual shows and sit in the audience to view the actual podcast. So the two of them met in that community. So that's why they're kind of privy to who they are as individuals. And I don't know how they got on that and follow all of that, but somehow they caught wind of what was going on and decided to bring him up. Maybe he might have been in attendance that day.
That make it even worse when somebody has that type of control to excommunicate you from a community. That's
oh shit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He's definitely manipulative, because if y'all met somewhere, that's like me meeting somebody on this podcast and then he telling me unfollow Lapeef because Lapeef is like, what? That's some manipulation. And if they broke up that fast because they're not married. So that's what's the problem. People trying to do married things under no covenant, without making no agreements, no compromising, no saying, hey, we're going to do this religion. We're going to eat this in the morning. We're going to drink this smoothie. We're going to work out it. We're going to, what you need help with, what type of goals you need me to invest in. And we're going to invest in. Like, ain't not like y'all doing all that off of a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. And as soon as something go wrong and your emotions fluctuate. So you ain't going to be butterflies and rainbows all the time. As soon as something happen, then it's like, oh, I'm on to the next. But let me shut up, because this might be a lecture for Darwin, because when you start making sense to people, it starts to be a lecture.
Oh God.
All right, let me go.
Or it could be that you want to prove that you're intelligent and you want to ramble for so long.
Prove itself. I'm just speaking from my heart and my mind. If it gives off intelligence, thank you.
That's good for you. Good for you. Keep it up.
All right. So we're going on a positive note, man. Good to see Black folks keeping it together.
That's what we calling it?
Yeah. Keeping it G. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel to get into our next topic. I know Trev sent this to me. I'm going to have you start off on this with Trev, then we'll get to Mila. But we're going to talk about, do you think social media is creating a divide between sexes?
Social media creating a divide between men and women.
I think social media is creating a divide between people and themselves. And what I mean by that is so many people are posting a facade. And then the worst part about posting the facade is when they meet you in real life, you have to be that way.
You are not.
So now you are putting yourself into a position where you constantly have to be something that you're not. And it's an identity crisis. So I think that social media, is absolutely creating a divide as far as women projecting themselves and objectifying themselves. I think that people think that they have way more options than they actually have on social media. I think that there's a lot of toxicity on social media that people are addicted to be completely honest. It's the new heroin. It's the new cocaine. It's the new weed. It is a drug. So I think that a divide is happening on social media because people are not being themselves and they're not taking the time to get to know who they are or what it is that they actually want. They're just being who society says they should be.
There was a trend. You remember that trend where it was the Lion King melody? I'm gonna take my social media to see who loves me online. That was a thing.
I'm gonna what my social media?
Check my social media to see who loves me online.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Social media creating a divide between sexes. Go ahead, Trev. I know you sent this to me. What are your thoughts about it, sir? And then we'll go to Mila.
Yeah, yeah, she's right. It's really bad. It's really bad. You see it done by men. You see it done by women. We get into these spaces. We really fall into these ideologies that we knew nothing about before just because someone made a compelling argument. We follow people who we never otherwise would. We start to blur the lines in between reality and social media, right? And we just have to understand a couple things. For one, even when you're just scrolling through your feed, people are, it's just their highlight reels. It's never their lowlights, right? People don't really show you the process, right? And even if people show you the grind, it's always sensationalized. It's never like, damn, it's a bad day for me. This is my rock bottom right here. It's not usually that. That's not what people usually post, right? People post when they're on vacation. They don't post the fact that they're home now with eating oodles and noodles and missed the light bill because they were on vacation every week this month, right? So we just have to understand what it is that we're looking at, and it is a facade. They mentioned facade. It absolutely is, right? Because a lot of people are too afraid to show who they really are. They want you to just look at this version of them. Social media has afforded people the opportunity to be something else. It could be their alter ego. It could be whatever it is that you want to be, whatever it is that you want to project, right? I could be doing whatever I want right now. Right now, I could be in an entirely messed up room, right? I could have holes in the wall beside me. Like, all you see is this frame right now. You don't know what's going on in front of me. You don't know what's going on behind me. You don't know what type of living conditions that I'm facing right now. You're just judging based on whatever I project to you through this camera and through this mic. That's all you know. And whatever I say, if I know how to articulate myself enough, then you're going to believe it. And it's really ruining people. And it's giving people unrealistic expectations, right? And it's forcing people to do things that they shouldn't. You see BBL, the craze. I don't think that it would have taken off. It did. Social media didn't glorify it, right? It didn't attract so much likes, so much attention, so many comments, everything else that it does. I don't think that will go on that is a lot. And we're able to get the attention that we want just by doing a lot of the wrong things, right? If you go ahead and do something crazy and you film it, you're going to get way better hits than if you were doing something productive most of the time, right? And as far as it creating a divide, absolutely. I could find myself guilty of it easy too, right? Because what I try to do is put things out there that would help people, right? But you know what? I can't even do it the way I would want to do it. I have to present it in a different way for it to reach enough people. If I don't really put a lot into my editing, if I don't really sensationalize it, right? And sometimes become polarizing, people don't care. Nobody's going to like it. Nobody's going to watch it. And if this is what you do for a living, you won't get paid. So when we're faced with these types of circumstances, it's very easy for us to do the wrong thing, right? It's very hard for us to be ourselves, right? And I encourage people to be yourselves. You don't want people to accept you for something that you're not, right? Because it's not real. If you're looking at me right now and I'm not really being myself, what does that really mean? Do people really love you? Do people really like you? If they don't like you for what you really are, what the hell does that even matter? I'll let it go for now.
All right. Go ahead, Mila. What are your thoughts about it? I think you might get to hit that reset button. Yeah, you might get the reset. I'm gonna come back to you.
There's some crickets in the background. Am I the only one that heard crickets?
Crickets.
Crickets?
Man, I saw up and down. I heard some crickets, man. I'm tweaking.
All right. I think she came back. Let me go ahead and get her back in the mix.
Can y'all see me now or hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I 100% agree. I am a person that is very authentic. And so this is like what I'm passionate about. But I will say that unfortunately, if you are a person like me, right, if you got bullied, you got talked about, whatever, I can understand why, like, as an adult, you don't know who you are, or you don't love yourself, or you have doubts about yourself, or you like are trying to put on this facade, right? And so I think a lot of the issues that we find with social media and people pretending or whatever is because they don't love themselves and they don't know who they are. And I don't think like growing up in school, right? Or like in our families, especially in our community, we're not taught to like just be yourself, right? Like if you was a nerd, you got bullied for being smart. Or if you didn't dress a certain way, you got talked about. Or if you didn't have this certain type of money, you felt the way. So then we grow up and we're trying to like, accommodate for those things that we didn't have. And now with social media, you see people becoming millionaires and everybody influencers and everybody content creators and podcasters. And now it's like this instant gratification. And so now, of course, you want that too, not realizing that, everybody's journey is different. Everyone is going to be different. That's what makes the human and life experience what it is, because we're going to be different. You may be a little more intelligent. You may be a little quirky. You may be a little weird. You may be super pretty. You may not, whatever it is. But I think that all of this stems from us not teaching at a young age on like really loving yourself, loving your quirks, loving the good, loving the bad, loving the ugly. And I think, until we like really address the root cause of all of this and people start being really authentic about the content that they're putting out, because I think a lot of this can start with the content creators, the celebrities, the athletes, all of this who perpetuate this ideology that like life is so great. In reality, life is not great all the time. Like life be lifing. And I'm really big on my platform to be authentic. Like I've had a lot of bad shit happen, and I like to like show like you gonna have some L's and you gonna have some W's. And if people gonna fuck with you, they gonna fuck with you. And if they not, they not. But at the end of the day, you gotta love yourself. And the people that's supposed to be in your corner and be in your tribe, they gonna be there. And the people that's not, they not gonna fuck with you. And I just hate that I see so many young people who really like don't love themselves or like don't have no worth because they're comparing themselves to these BBL girls or these content creators or these people that's having surgery or these people that's doing all of this. And it's so unfortunate. And I don't know how to shift this, right? Because I don't think social media is going to go anywhere, right? Because so many people are making money from it. So it's not going to go nowhere. But I don't know, like as content creators or as, all of y'all, like how can we help shift this narrative? Because it's really getting ridiculous. And it's now impacting relationships. It's impacting so many things. And I don't know. I wish that I love social media, but then I also hate social media at the same time. I think it was great and it was a good way for us to connect and to meet and find resources. But I think we've got so disconnected from like society and real interactions that people don't know how to take the real from the fake. And I don't know how to change that narrative. That's like something that I would love to, figure out. But yeah, that's just my perspective. I hope with time and as, we start to develop, maybe we can start getting back to our roots and start, connecting in real life and like really taking our different platforms and actually making a positive impact instead of like just getting so caught up in the glitz and the glam, because that is not reality. But yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Sweeney.
It's crazy. I don't think social media ruin people. I think people ruin social media. And I'm gonna explain. when they started trying to make it where you had to trying to monetize social media, that's when it was destroyed. I don't know. Y'all remember them first days of like them first couple years of Facebook and like MySpace and YouTube at that time? Like it was beautiful at that time. We was all connecting, having dope ass conversations. People was kicking it, meeting up with old friends from high school that you didn't know, that you ain't seen in 20 years. It was like the conversations were better. But as soon as everybody started trying to monetize it, and next thing you know, we started creating. Then like you add like the Mark Zuckerberg and all of them in there, and then they started creating snapshots of people's lives, and then they started limiting it. All you can do is then they created Instagram where it's just pictures, and then like YouTube became monetized, and everybody just started trying to make a bag off of it, who can go viral and whatnot. But it used to be a time where, man, we used to really just connect. That's what it was for at first. Like, and now you don't even like Facebook was dope when it first came out. It was dope. And now we're here. When nobody people don't even like Facebook anymore. They like, you know what I mean? Now it's toxic everywhere, all these weird ass groups. We ruined it. We showed our ass. That's what happened. We got on there and we showed our ass. And I don't nobody like it. But you can make a bag off of it. You can show a snapshot of your life and look at me eat this fucking sandwich, or check this out. I got an opinion on that, and who can go viral quickly, and TikTok and all this other shit. It's not genuine anymore. We not genuine people. We get on there, we try to show out. But it used to be beautiful. We ruined it.
All right, go ahead, Casey. You want to say something, Mila?
I was gonna say, do you think we can get that back, or it's just ruined forever? I love Facebook. When you had to be invited, when you had that little email and you was in school, that was the best time. But
we ain't going back because they regular people get monetized on that. Now everybody, hey, y'all noticed? I don't know if all y'all on Facebook right now, but y'all notice that every time somebody post something now, they say, "Oh, you got to go in the comments to get the full context or get the video now." Like, who the fuck do all of that? It used to be post a video, we either like it or we don't. Now you trying to create engagement on your post so you can get paid by Facebook rather than just putting out some genuine shit, and either we like it or we don't.
Oh, I didn't know Facebook started doing that. Okay, I didn't know that. We lost. Maybe they do need to get rid of TikTok then. Maybe we can start there. I don't know.
Go ahead, Casey.
So, no, I'm enjoying listening to everyone on this topic. I don't have much right now, but I agree with Trev. To the most point, like people are followers, and that's literally what social media is, right? People, for the most part, people are followers. When it comes to the dollar, when it comes to advertisement, people follow trends. People are easily influenced. All these words, the large companies knew that when they realized how MySpace and Facebook was really affecting society, and how the human brain works and how people are. And I think I talked about this a couple episodes ago about how I'm really into documentaries when it comes to like cult leaders and different things like that in history, about how people will literally give their entire life for an individual, like just literally leave the world, leave whatever they know, leave their parents, anything that's been ingrained in them. They will leave it all to go follow a person and be influenced by a person to go live in a farm somewhere or desert or whatever. And it's really interesting because it all transcends to what social media is and how marketing affects people, how advertisement affects people. Influence is it's a real thing. It's not fake. And the human brain is so fragile. some people may have, are able to control how their brain works a little bit better than others, but for the most part, it's extremely fragile with influence and marketing and advertisement. And social media has provided a clear highway of business to consumer brain, like a straight, direct highway from a concept to I need to get into your pockets. And Instagram, TikTok, all of these other Facebook, the companies are able to utilize that, and it helps small business as well, not just big business, right? But that's what social media has become. It's all about advertisement, as Sweeney was saying. It's all about the dollar. It's all about influence, how much money I can make, how viral I can go, how provocative I can be. And now you don't see a difference between what is it, OnlyFans and Instagram now. It's like the lines are being blurred. You really can't tell what's what. People just are these individual like real people? Or are they just selling vagina or selling penis? Like you really can't tell the difference. Fitness pages are not fitness anymore. They're like OnlyFans. So it's like all the lines are just being blurred and the waters are muddy. So yeah, I'll end it there. I can just keep rambling.
Twitter is the worst by all means with the whole OnlyFans blur lines. They wild on there.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, Casey. It is very, very blurred instead of more so division. I think it's the thing about validation, you know what I'm saying? I think what social media is doing is just validating what you already want or what you already want to see, what you already believe in. It kind of amplifies what you desire. You know what I'm saying? It confirms what you want to believe in, even if it's positive or negative. And so I disagree with the division. I'm more so on I would say it's blending the sexes. More so of making men embrace being feminine and making women embrace, being masculine. But it all stemmed from your original interest. And once you bite the hook, then the algorithm is intelligent enough to pull you in a direction that would not only benefit the platform, but it would also, trap your mind to a point where you'll be stuck, you know what I'm saying, to this quicksand that you stepped into. But if we're going to say that, these things are a part of manipulation, then we also have to say what old girl said about no self-love, and I see a lot of women, and it's funny, she mentioned about women objectifying themselves and stuff. I see a lot of lack of self-love. And I think whenever you have this mindset when you don't need someone, I think you need someone to love you. It's important to have somebody to love you, and it's a benefit to have somebody else to love you, like a spouse or a girlfriend or whatever. You're in a serious relationship, because then it can help you, stay focused on the thing that's in your best interest, so to speak. But it's when you get into this mindset where you're independent, then you can make yourself a target, because then you think you're all vulnerable and can't nobody touch you. And that's whenever you start getting manipulated. And it's a beautiful thing to have somebody that you love, somebody that's close to you, that's guiding you, helping you, assisting you, and making sure you're making the right decision on the best interest of your life and the life and the relationship between y'all two. So that's all I can say about that.
All right, let me go to Chamonix. What you think about this? Do you think social media is creating a divide between sexes?
No, I mean, online, sure. I think that if you log on, you're going to see a divide between sexes. But if you log off, I think people are just carrying on as normal. I don't see people arguing between sexes in real life when I walk outside. I don't know where everybody else lives, but where I am, it doesn't really take place outside of logging onto the computer and seeing it, on a platform or, I do think that people, if anything, I do believe that it creates a delusion as far as your dating market or something like that. And I do think that it affects that more so than it affects a division. It just seems like we're going back and forth. So if I were on the outside looking in, like just say I were in another country and I didn't know how we were in the United States and I see us, of course, I'm like, okay, this going back and forth. But if me living here in the United States, when I walk outside away from the computer, I don't see that. I don't know if do you guys see it outside of
I don't really see it like in real life. I think that's the issue. Like fake life is confusing us in real life, and we're thinking fake life is real life. But in reality, when you actually go out and mingle with people, it ain't that bad. I mean, it's not that bad, right? People talk. You don't see men and women bickering like high value. I'm high. You know, you don't see that like in real life. So
I don't think you should expect to see that, because then it's personal. It's your personal thoughts and stuff that's being exposed. And when you're on social media, you protected by a barrier. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you out in person, you typically don't expose that side of yourself or that side of your mind or that side of your thinking unless you're having an intimate conversation with somebody. So it's highly likely that you're not going to see it out when you just walk out into the street and expect somebody to be arguing over whether a woman should be independent or not.
No, I mean, even like just mingling, like if you go to social events or like I go to speed dating events or network, you don't really hear the same conversations that you see like online. I don't experience them in real life, I guess. Maybe that's what you're saying.
Well,
right?
if you go to speed dating, typically people are trying to put on their best foot, and if it's a guy, he's trying to finesse you for the box. So he's not gonna have an argument over whether you don't have a lot of options.
No, or
whether
even
you
networking
hit the wall or you a leftover woman, he gonna try to get them cheeks and keep it pushing. So you probably not gonna get a truthful conversations at the speed dating.
So I agree with that. I don't think that there's a divide as far as a rift between men and women. But I do think what social media has done is open the eyes on how women think and how men think. And maybe you go into a date knowing how the other person really feels about something.
That's what I was about to say, Shan, is that I think it translates into men and women not getting together.
Yeah.
I think it translates into preconceived notions based on what is spread throughout social media, is that you see less, and you know, we're in Black YouTube, so you see less Black women and men getting together based on ideologies and different points of view that are pumped into certain people that are influenced by social media. That's what I think.
Well, are they really influenced by social media? Or are they just?
I think it depends on
they're manipulating the way we date.
What's your question?
Manipulate the way we date.
I was saying, can you give us an example of what you mean by there's influences that's causing Black men and Black women not to want to be in a relationship?
So I've heard it, I can say probably 1,000 times, that there's piss and poop in the dating pool, right? You hear that like on podcast after podcast after podcast. Meanwhile, there are people that are getting together, that are getting married, and there are people who say that. This is the thing. There are people who echo that sentiment who don't even date.
Yes.
Who are not even outside to date. But they constantly say that there's piss and pee in the dating pool. And you're like, wait, how are you agreeing with something that you're not even a part of? Like, you're not even actively participating in meeting the opposite sex, men and women. So how could you say that? And you haven't even been making yourself available to meet other men and women that are in the dating pool. So how are you saying? They're saying it because they're constantly hearing it. It's constantly being fed into their spirit. And so all they do is pump it out and echo it.
I say that about
how do you get that? How do you get those? I mean, I get what you're saying. There's people out here that's echoing these things, and they're not even out there to test the data and to see how it is for themselves. How do you quantify that to a level where it holds enough weight to paint the picture for the topic we're discussing? That I don't know if you're saying that as a whole, or maybe some people are like that. I don't know.
I mean, of course,
study or anything?
whatever, we're talking on a podcast. This is all of our opinions, right? Like, we're not saying anything in absolute terms or anything that is in all or all encompassing of every Black person, every Black man or woman or whatever. I'm just saying from my point of view, right? And how much I know people drive to work listening to podcasts, come home, listen to podcasts, eat on their lunch break, listen to like literally constantly taking in conversations of relationships, people's point of view. They're not to Mila's point of view. They're to Mila's point. They're not really talking to people that are in good, healthy relationships. They're more so listening to social media and taking in to people that they don't know. And to Trev's point, that they don't know if it's reality, if there's really their point of view, or if they're just being provocative in their speech because they know it's clickbait and they're going to have a ton of followers. I'm saying that whatever the point and the reasoning behind it is influencing masses of people who may be in their small little bubble that just go to work and come home and constantly take in relationship podcasts from people, whether it may be good or positive. They're constantly taking in other people's point of view and making it their own.
So are you saying that it's bad for a person to go on the internet, listen to a podcast that's telling them, hey, these things are, if you do these things, or if you move in this way, these are things that are likely to happen to you, and here are the stats. But this person hasn't yet to step out and date himself. You think it's bad for him to take that advice?
No, Darwin, not at all. If it's something positive that's really feeding into their soul that can actually help them and guide them within making good decisions in their life, it doesn't even have to be a relationship. If it's something positive that can give them the tools that can help them navigate whatever they're trying to navigate, kudos, it's good. But I'm talking about like the negative speech
Can you give me an
that
example of
people
that?
are
Because I'm
actually.
kind of lost on it.
I just said the dating pool has too many fish in it. If you're not even dating, how can you say that?
People go into dating
There we go.
already with a negative
So
connotation.
basically it's subjective. It's subjective to your own personal opinion, whether it's positive or negative. So whenever you say a person is receiving something from a podcast and it's negative,
Well, I
that's
think that
subjective to what you believe is negative might not be negative for that person that's listening.
Hold on, we got to make sure we get the people that haven't spoke yet in, and then let's make sure we share the mic. Let's go to Ali, Ruth, Trev, Marcus.
Get back on topic. Do you think social media is creating a divide between sexes? I would say it all depends on who you follow, and there is a large group of people that are creating podcasts in the Black community that are pushing a divide between the sexes. And when I'm following my white friends and my white influencers, they're talking about a whole different ball game, a different world. I've gotten so much gain, and it ain't paid. It's just like Campbell, Kevin Harrington, stocks and bonds, investing. Campbell, she is a blogger with her husband. They travel the world. They just show you what they want, but they got 1 million followers and they're trending right now on TikTok. So they're trying to get a bag together. But I see a lot in our community. It's the Kevin Samuels. Oh, if you fat and you over 40, chances are you ain't gonna get a man. But that same man fat and 40 and he's single too. Why y'all not combining incomes and resources? Because you are systematically oppressed according to your zip code, so y'all can move out of that zip code and start living longer and have a better health care and et cetera, et cetera. So I think the divide is coming from single people who trying to give relationship advice, or people who have been in toxic relationships and they're trying to give all this relationship advice. It's not to bring us together. It's to judge and say, ooh, what do you bring to the table? And who's at the other end of the table? And ooh, you sound like a lecture because I'm communicating. It's a lot of division. Like, hey, this is who I am. This is who I come to the table with. I am who I am. You know what it is. You don't like it, baby? I told you it's 1,000 in line, so get out the way.
Ali,
And instead of judging, who's talking to me? Is that Sweeney? Oh, Sweeney. Now you know I don't like talking to you. Come on now. Ugh.
have you ever heard of the Whatever podcast?
No, I
Better,
don't.
Better Bachelor.
Yeah,
Better
they're
Bachelor.
all.
No.
Oh man.
Listen, I'm talking about when I go on my social media, I'm talking about what I see. You probably get those type of feeds because you subscribe to the black version. So of course the white version gonna come through. I don't subscribe to either. But when I do follow other cultures, they're talking about combining things. I see people in Chicago. There was a Venezuelan family that moved in like 10 families in one building, in one apartment. And they have a video of them and they're all working together. And it ain't necessarily they're all sleeping together. They're working together economically to advance. They would say, hey, let's leave our country. I'm not done, Sweeney.
Well,
You
because
keep
you're
interrupting.
talking like, come on now, you gotta let other people.
I'm not playing. If you let me, but you keep interrupting, it's real rude. I let you speak.
I'm just trying to
You
like,
gotta let her, Sweeney. You gotta let her lecture. You gotta let her lecture,
bro. But I was just trying to like, we gotta have a conversation. But like,
It's called an educated and an intellectual conversation when you actually make points that actually make sense, where it's not just like I'm just asking some dumbass questions that lead nowhere. But as I was saying, I'll land this plane and then I'm gonna mute myself for a while because I let ignorant conversations go on without me. Like I was saying, you know, I'm witnessing other cultures, they're combining resources to advance themselves. We're still arguing about coffee dates. We're still arguing about you make 50K, I make 100K, let's go 50-50. Boy, if you don't get out here and build a house and build a tree and learn how to grow something right now or learn how to do something, stop worrying about if this woman got a bonnet on and all this stuff. We argue about the dumbest stuff on these podcasts and we have as black men, I feel if you're going to create a podcast and you're going to talk about relationships, it shouldn't be always pointing a finger at the black woman. I've heard it all night. Oh, well, women do this and women do that and women and she can't be and all that. Well, you're the leader. You want to be a leader. This is a patriarchal society, right? So you lead everything, right? It's a man's world. So lead. Stop pointing the finger at women. Stop creating these podcasts where we divided and this woman ain't doing this and she ain't going to be worthy. Find you a wife and settle down and make money.
All right. Hold on, sweetie. Hold that thought. Let's get to Ruth and Trev and Marcus. Go ahead, Ruth.
I do think social media is creating a divide between the sexes, from men going their own way to women complaining about men. You have your passport bros. Everybody have their own little corner and section. There's more division in our community than ever. So you have to be very careful about what you listen to on the algorithm because maybe we are looking at other cultures like, hey, they got some good stuff going on, and then your algorithm is playing, good stuff, but we didn't find that. Like we they're only going to play what we watching, right? So if it's popular, we like negativity a lot, so that's what pops up for us. But there's a lot of positive podcasts, but they just don't get the recognition that they deserve. So it can go either way. There's a lot of black people doing a lot of positive things, but that's so hush hush. And I wonder if people say leftover women and hitting the wall, like if you say that in real life conversations, or you just say that on the internet. Because I know sometimes, the women, they talk a lot of on my end, because I talk to the women, they say they want this and they want a man with a bunch of money, but they're sleeping with somebody that's broke, don't have this and don't have that. So I think people portray something online. They don't want to look bad. And then in real life, they do something totally different. And then they say it's pissing in the dating pool, but you keep stepping in the pool. So I don't know what to say.
All right. Go ahead, Trev.
Yeah, something was just said about it really being us. But I mean, if you look at the most popular men's dating podcast, it would be Fresh and Fit. They got about 1.5 million subscribers. If you look at the most popular white dating podcasts who do the exact same thing as the whatever podcast like Sweeney mentioned, and they have 4.3 million. So it's, there's more people subscribing to that than we are, right? It's not a black and white thing, because there's plenty of black positive videos that are out there. There's people who you can watch who teach you about not just dating, but entrepreneurship, everything else, whatever it is you're looking for. So it definitely isn't a black and white thing. I would say that for sure. We're using it wrong. We're using the internet the wrong way, right? There's so many things that we can do with social media. Like, again, like Sweeney was saying before, like when it was first out, when we had like MySpace and stuff like that, for those of us who were old enough to have dealt with MySpace, we were able to communicate with each other on a different level. You were able to reach people from high school who you otherwise would never get an opportunity to speak to. It was just so many different things. Like, I used to have fun in the Yahoo chat rooms, not to date myself, but that's where I started, was like the Yahoo chat rooms. You couldn't even see the person, but you would just have conversations. It would be more meaningful conversations. It was before the bag. People weren't going crazy trying to get to the money. No matter what, once you infuse money or politics into a situation, it ruins it, right? So that's what made it really tough. And the algorithm is forcing you into a rabbit hole, because at the end of the day, we know that advertisement companies, all they want to do is get as much face time as possible. So they're not going to help the situation. They really don't care how destructive it can be. All they know is that when you start to get an idea in your mind, they know what to continue to push in your direction, so you could dive deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole and never come out, so they can continue to gain ad revenue. That's what this is all about, right? So we're falling into it. Sometimes you just got to take breaks. I encourage everybody to take breaks. Just go away for a little bit. Go do something for real. Go outside. Go meet some real people. Every once in a while, go out, even if it's not as a group. You don't have to hit the club. Just go out with your your spouse or whatever. Just go take a ride somewhere. Go do something. Stay off of there, man. You have to decompress. Just stay away from it for a little bit. You need those breaks, because it'll consume you. You'll go crazy because of it. I couldn't imagine if I just stayed on social media all day, because when you look at it, once you get an idea, they suggest another one. They autoplay in now. Like, how are you supposed to get out of it? Nobody cares to get you out of it. They just want you in there. So don't let the social media stuff consume you, take your life over. Just and there were two words. I think Casey mentioned them, right? She was just saying in passing, but it really resonated with me, right? We have followers and influencers. You're probably one or the other, right? So you watching everybody and you're looking at what they're doing. You're following. You really are following. And if you are on the other side of the screen, you are an influencer. And there's a level of responsibility that we have to have if we want to include ourselves as an influencer. And you have to understand that there are people who are looking for answers. The newer generations, you talk about like millennials down, especially, are looking for answers. And this is the only place that they know to go. They may not have people in their life who have a positive impact, or people that even want to talk to them. They just don't have people that are available to them to even learn something. So they're looking to us for these answers sometimes. So we have to be responsible about how we convey them. We have to understand how it's going to be received. And there's a balance, right? We understand that it has to be somewhat entertaining just for people even to pay attention to you, but you have to be careful about what it is that you say, because there are people who have no idea about the subject matter that we're talking about. So whatever we say to them might be gold. So if we're irresponsible with that, we're going to be leading people to some terrible situations. And that's not what we want to do, because a lot of people really don't know what else to do. This is the only place that they know to go. So we just need to be more responsible with it.
Hey, real quick, I just want to say that sounded like a lecture for real, telling me to be responsible. Well, what I say, I just want you to know.
I wasn't talking to you saying you need to be responsible.
To be responsible with what we say. I was like, if that ain't a lecture, I don't know what is.
You be long-winded, dude.
You gotta say, can you
I'm
direct your
long-winded.
anger over to him like you did me, Trev?
I'm just talking shit because God was tired of it, Trev. So
I didn't look. I ain't say nothing about no. When did I
it
mention the
off.
word lecture
Way that
tonight? I ain't
way.
say lecture.
I
Yeah,
no,
go that way.
I know. That's the word of the other day. Lecture. Okay.
She was waiting to spit that out. It's all good.
All right, go ahead, Marcus.
You muted, bro. You muted.
So I said this time and time again, right? The most powerful weapon and tool of this generation and probably to come for a while is social media. Ideologies control bodies, and bodies inflict harm or create resolutions and solutions. We have to people, if you can control the narrative, you can control the way people navigate through this world. Within a blink of an eye, you could say, I don't wear jerseys, I'm 30 plus, and everybody will no longer wear jerseys no more if you had a right person to influence people. You can say all baby mamas over 40 are washed up and will never get a date, and you'll have people out here telling women in their face that they're worthless at this point because they over 40 and don't. What I'm saying is, however you use the tool, it becomes either a gun pointed at you, or it becomes either a self-defense tool to help other people and to keep yourself protected, or to harm other people. And unfortunately, when you see a car crashing, you would watch that. We're like ingrained to look at something that's tragic, chaotic, and crazy. And the way the dopamine hits work, the more you engage with sensational content, the more the dopamine wears off. It's like the first time somebody do a line, they toot their first line, they high as a kite. Then the rest of they time on the habit, they chasing that high. We kind of are in that space where we chasing the sensational social media high. It was a point in time where you watch somebody die and it was too much to watch for some people. Now you can watch somebody get killed and you won't blink an eye because we become desensitized to this. I just seen somebody get lit up in Philly, and the people in the comments was talking about the most random stuff. You just watch somebody lose their life, and they was talking about, well, he didn't get no chips. He probably should have got chips. Not going anywhere for a while, get a Snickers. You know what I'm saying? This man just died on a lie. But you desensitized to it. And the more you get desensitized to stuff, the more you need in order to get to that high. So we kind of in a catch-22 where in order to gain attention, you're going to have to create the most sensational thing. That sensational thing a lot of times won't be good. So then you control the perception, which becomes reality. People could fake it till they make it. Or you could say everything is so bad until it actually becomes that bad. We like caught up in a cycle at this point. We caught up in the cycle. And I agree. I ask myself that question all the time. How can we influence positivity to move forward? The only thing I can come up with is try and push positivity, and maybe that can help create reality for somebody that interacts with what you got going on. I never would want to be in a position where I'm pushing divisiveness, and then I help push people further away. So that's kind of the only solution that I come for, and it's not even that great of a solution. I kind of was in a time capsule where I missed, huh?
Oh, go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll wait till you.
I kind of was in a time capsule because when social media first hit, I kind of swore off because one of my friends way back in the day told me, man, my girl tripping. She's tripping about me looking at Instagram all day, and she be on there having these expectations for me. I heard that and I was like, oh yeah. I put a block on the Wi-Fi router for Instagram. So for like 7 years, we didn't have Instagram in the house. I didn't like Shan sent me a message and I didn't get it to 8 months later because I didn't never check Instagram. Right? Am I lying? And I wasn't posting, I wasn't doing I just recently started engaging with that stuff. So I kind of watch people transfer through the social media era as somebody on the outside because I wasn't engaging or interacting with it. And I could start hearing these different ideologies that was extreme. And now that I'm interacting with social media, I could pinpoint where those ideologies was coming from. Because there are kids right now who never had child support, never had a paternity that wasn't theirs, who never been done in by women, who are opting out of the dating market. They think it's too much at this point. That's like, I know people want to share their experience and stories, and that's important, where you let things be known that are occurring. But we can't oversaturate it so people think that the minority of things that happen are what they will absolutely experience and scare people out of moving forward in life.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Well, I had one too.
Okay.
Go ahead, bro, if you want to go first.
No,
I was gonna say is,
I know Sweeney was waiting.
okay, go ahead. I'll just wait.
Sure, I ain't tripping. You can go. You probably got the same question I got. I look at what's happening in the real world, and all social media is doing is confirming exactly what we're seeing happen in the real world to a degree. People really aren't having relationships anymore. People really aren't dating anymore. I mean, that's a reality. When you look outside, everybody's call it what you want. And I think what a lot of people are experiencing is that they had a bad experience, and then when they go to social media, the content confirms their bad experience. Confirmation bias, so to speak, I guess. So when you know what I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You hear women right now asking, why aren't men approaching us? Why aren't they trying to talk to us? Why aren't they asking us on dates? There was a video just a few days ago where a woman was trying to convince guys to go to brunches to meet other women. The guys were like, no, we good. All right, you know what I mean? The passport bros, that's a real thing that they're doing for real. And the ones that can't afford to do the passport thing, they opting out of dating. They saying I'm good. You know what I mean? You see the same thing on the other side. A lot of women opting out of relationships. Women on TikTok right now kissing their dogs in the mouth, straight tongue kissing them in the mouth, talking about I love my dog, and that's all I need in this. Straight, I swear to God, man, it's a whole trend on TikTok right now. Mostly white women, but
that sounds like bestiality to me. That's on TikTok.
Mostly white women, but no, seriously though, like you're seeing it happen right there in our faces, and that can't all be just social media. They have to be outside experiencing that too. They have to be outside experiencing. Now, to Marcus's point where he said that these guys ain't never experienced like a baby mama, that I may agree with, but they are experiencing it. Y'all remember it used to be a time where the women that used to jump in your inbox and ask you for money were all bots. And now all of a sudden these are real people now, where you message them and they tell you, send me a cash app if you want to talk. Who the hell wants to deal with that?
People do that in real life.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sweeney, I think that goes to my point. I'm gonna use an example to tie in what I'm saying. It's an experiment where they hire 10 paid actors to sit in a room, and every time a bell rings, they stand up. And every time a bell rings, they sit back down. So what they do is they cycle all of the paid actors out until there's new people in there, and they're still standing up and sitting down when that bell rings. They have no idea why they're doing it. They know they just walked in, and that's what they're supposed to do because they're there. So when you talk about the bots could have started out fake, and then people believe that that's just what people do and start moving in that way. When you had the opportunity to control perception, which is back to my ideology point, you can manufacture behavior in humans. Is the Pavlov dog experiment? It's all type of scientific data that shows you how in which you can manipulate humans, and it's not that hard, especially in this era. It's really not that hard.
And I don't disagree with that, but I think that it's far larger than just people being manipulated. I think they are actually having these experiences, and that social media may exacerbate, or you may consume and oversaturate your life with the experiences of others, but they are experiencing these things. Because even when I talk to I talk to my clients every day, like who come sit in the chair, and they all telling me the same thing: the dates that they go on, the women that they experience, even the women. Like my wife sits right next to me, and I hear some of the women's dating experiences. I'd be like, have you ever wondered, like, how the fuck did that happen to you? But it's over and over and over and over, and they're really outside experiencing these experiences. And then when you then you bring it up to them, then we and I watch y'all show. I watch shows all the time, so I play them in the shop sometimes, and they be like, oh no, because I experienced this, or they they understand what is being said because they've experienced it. So I understand that there is a level of possible of manipulation to a degree, but again, I think social media is a creation of us. We're the people. We're the ones that's creating it. The people are coming in. Like if you go in any of these comment sections and them are millions upon millions of opinions of the same exact topic of all these different people with all these different experiences. So we're actually creating the experiment.
So Sweeney, the reason that I agree with you but disagree is because when Elon Musk bought Twitter, they had to redo everything because of the amount of bots, right? Those bots, we kind of in a chicken or the egg type of scenario. We know it's hatching and turning into a chicken. We don't know exactly where something starts at. Is it the social behavior that created the way people are acting, or was it a catalyst that created the social behavior? Like you can intercept the human behavior right now, insert a new stimuli, and change all the human behavior from that point on, if you with the right tool, which is social media. What I'm saying is the ability to change, alter the reality of perception, which then becomes reality, exists. It's just not being utilized to do that. It's being utilized to do the exact opposite. Like it was people shooting and killing in the 90s. The rappers start talking about it. The next generation of kids thought more people were killing and shooting than they was, and it became normalized to them. Now you normalize that. Now they talking about face cards and playing bingo. And you gotta catch somebody, you know what I'm saying? You're not a man, so you catch your first body in certain neighborhoods. These things are a progression of something. And I'm just saying we in the progression of negativity, and it's gonna keep getting worse.
I think y'all saying the same thing. And Sweeney, I really appreciate you showing some type of empathy for somebody who is being whatever you say. I've never heard you speak like that. That's why I was like, what, Sweeney? Yes, clap for Sweeney, caring about somebody other than himself. But yeah, y'all saying the same thing. Sound like it's just different ways. You saying that there was a stimuli that came in the petri dish, and he's saying that like, come on, man, y'all trying to sound smart and stuff. But yeah, I think real quick, I just be cracking jokes, y'all. Forgive me. Who's teaching these people how to be better in relationships? And like you said, Marcus, it is a stimuli that was put. I think it's an agenda against the colored community, a certain group. Now, we don't have to agree, but I believe it's targeted towards a certain group. There's been a CIA. I could send you all types of links of CIA experiments done on our community. And it's right in our face with us causing a divide between sexes because, look, they stopping abortions. You know why? Because they want to make sure that the white population stays the majority, right? Because, we're going to have our babies. I guess. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't really know. I don't have that experience, but in our community, I see a lot of women, constantly having kids. I'm like, dang, you're not done yet. So
I think our rates are higher.
There is an agenda, like you said. So who's going to teach our people how to stop? Like you said, not to change the stimuli from changing us to be divided to more, let's share resources. Let's not charge each other for game. Let me give you some game, because if once you level up and you're my neighbor, my property value goes up. Once you start investing in your home and putting a level up, I need to be able to afford it too, right? You know what I mean? I can't stay a shack on the corner. We don't have that mentality. And then you mentioned, Sweeney, about passport bros, but it was also a case of when they found out y'all, was going over there, taking a women for trying to pay their women for sex, y'all were coming up missing. So I just wanted to put that out there because Trev said be responsible for our information that we put out. So I do want to include, when y'all go over there overseas looking for these women, thinking y'all gonna trick them, y'all come up either robbed or drugged, etc. Be careful. That's all I want to say, because you're gonna have to take care of them. You're gonna have to pay to get their pass, their citizenship. You got to pay for them.
You just want a slave. And as far as women asking for money in the DM, I heard somebody say that. I took a little note I wanted to talk about. That's the new form of prostitution, I think. I agree with that. A lot of women are hitting up people in the DM saying, hey, you got to pay me for my time, my date, all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, are you a commodity? Can't, like, what's going on? So I definitely don't agree with that. But I just wanted to interject and let y'all know y'all really saying the same thing. And I wanted to ask y'all, who's going to teach our community how to be better spouses, partners in business and community so that we can elevate?
We already are. You just gotta. It all starts at your fingertips. If your fingertips is inclined to type in, okay, does my age matter? And your ass might find a video with Kevin Samuels telling you that, yeah, it do. If your fingertips is leading you the way, says, does my weight matter? Your ass might find. I think it's a case of fucking around and find out. And people finding out that the algorithm don't care about your feelings. It's just gonna put the content that's well optimized to what you're searching for. And once it get a hold of it, like Trev said, then now you're down in the rabbit hole. Because there's a thing that you didn't account for. Suggested content. You may agree with that first video you typed in, but this creator has many other videos that you may not agree with. So it's a fucking case of fuck around and find out. And it's no different than the Holy Bible. You read a scripture. Oh, is a woman supposed to be beautiful? Oh, I like that. If you find out if your ass keep reading, it's going to tell you ain't supposed to eat all that shit you eating and getting fat. Now you want to say it's toxic. It's a hard case of fucking around and find out. And it's completely what Sweeney said. You can sit here bragging on social media. All this stuff that's on social media was happening in the world before. You're just now able to see it. And because you're able to see it, it's because it's how you're using your fingertips. It's all about what you're typing in first. And once you type it in, you open up a gateway to other things. And those things resonate with you. They resonate with the viewers. The algorithm is well optimized to be able to put the right content in front of you based on what you say. And now it's done got sophisticated to the point where the stuff you're talking about, you can be talking next to your cell phone about, damn, I need to lose weight. And you get on a weight scale. And you fuck around and open up your phone, you might have a waist trainer there for sale or some shit, or some pills, some weight loss pills. It's all about, it's just catering to what resonates with you. So if you find yourself with a video saying, hey, look, am I too old today? Or why do men don't want to date me? Then the content creator that got the most views and that's well optimized for search engine or suggestion is going to be right in front of your face. And you just going to have to swallow that hard pill or get your ass off social media.
I'm going to say this to Marcus and Ali's point. Something that's been in the news the past 2 weeks. There's a basketball player, D1 basketball player, who just got a nail polish deal with Sally Hansen that has been around since we were children. Right? So it's been around, I don't even know when that company was established, but that was like the very first nail polish company that I knew of when I was young, right? And before a woman got a deal, before a female basketball player, Angel Reese or anybody else got a deal playing NCAA basketball, a black man got a nail polish deal, right? And so we're left with these type of things and agendas that are being pushed, and I believe from social media, right, within our community, because you're not going to see Travis Kelce with no nail deal. You're not going to see you're not going to see Borrow with no nail deal. You're not going to see any major hockey players, white hockey players or soccer players with no fingernail polish deal. But somehow within our community, we think it's cool and it's accepted. I agree with Marcus and Ali was saying within our community that there's certain things that we allow, through social media, certain agendas that are being pushed, certain things that other communities do not allow, that are like, you're not coming over here with that. And it is what it is. We don't care. This is the standard that we have for our children and our influenced young minds. They keep them protected, but somehow within our community and through social media, we allow the malarkey. And it is an agenda. And if you sleep, your children will be exposed to it. We can do what all we want to do. My parents, I came from a 2-parent household. They pumped into us spirituality, God, morals, values. At the end of the day, my parents had to trust that all 4 of us would go out into the world and hold steadfast to what we learned at home, because we were there with what? The world, other children, teachers that could have imprinted whatever they thought that we should have, a way we should have thought, other parents, coaches, all of us played, all of us were athletes. The world could have influenced us before. So it was no Facebook when we were growing up, right? So the world was there to influence us outside of what our parents taught us. But because our parents were like, this is what it is, and there's nothing else past this is what it's going to be, we understood that, and we had a barrier up to our minds whenever we went outside. But these children through social media and through the regular media are getting infiltrated with so much. And I feel like our community is number 1 on the infiltration list. They're number 1.
We lead the households with single family households, and that's the reason why that man was trying to keep his woman off of from following certain content creators. When you said you got to lead
Gotta marry her first.
The hopes that you're gonna be able to hold on to the teaching and the doctrine that your parents gave you. Well, that's the reason why we cover our children, or especially our daughters, who've been lately failing to use their discernment to make the decisions out here. So that's why, me personally, if I have a daughter, I'm gonna cover her from cover to cover. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take care of her until she get married. And I think
I'm talking about a man getting a nail deal. What about your son?
So
what about
look,
your son?
Casey, I think, to your point, I think in my personal opinion, I think that this based off observation. When I watch TV shows, they normally don't have any black men, masculine black men. When I look at commercials, they have a specific type of a relationship. It's a black woman and a non-black guy. When I look at shows that's coming up, so I always had this theory dating back to before LGBT was popularized, that it takes about 7 years for something to be introduced into the mainstream media before it becomes acceptable, and then from there it's like 5 years till it becomes normal. So right now, I think this is why I really don't like the division between black men and black women online. I think that people should discuss their personal issues with their person in their relationship in their house with that other person and get to the bottom of that issue. But right now, it seems as though it's a strong attempt to effeminate the hypermasculine black man, put other men in that role as hypermasculine, because it's not really a fair comparison, which is why it's not really a fair comparison as far as how people view masculinity, which then allows the dating to change, and the future you see no masculine black men. The ones that are left will be effeminate or part of the LGBT community, and that has a desired outcome.
Well, that's why our men are arguing about us taking them on dates. And I'm not just saying our men only. So when I'm talking about black men, it's because I typically like to date black men at this point in my life, and that's why I'm talking about y'all, because I want you all to hear me, and I hope you respect, like Darwin said, like he gonna protect his future daughters. I want you to all start thinking about protecting women, black women as a whole, and we don't have to be your family. We always want to protect our family, but if we see a black woman out here she drowning, and she'll get through it. That's how communities stick together. When I'm in my white community, if I have a problem, my neighbor will come and shovel my snow. Okay. If I'm in a black community, I'm gonna have to do it. I might have to do it myself. My black neighbor, his baby mama might have a problem with that.
You want
I'm
a
just
man to
I'm
protect
just
you. Why
saying.
don't you get a black man to shovel your snow? A
Well,
husband to shovel your snow.
because if you know when you're single, now
Exactly. You
y'all
don't
want to
want
say,
protection.
listen, hold on, let me answer that question. See, here we go again. I have to get a familial protection. We only protect black women if they're in your family, if you're married, if you fucking them, or if they, you came out their womb, y'all came out the same womb, or you could go in the womb. But if you can't touch the womb, you like, can't you get somebody to come in your womb? Oh, I'm sure I can. But the vetting process is the vetting process, and we don't want to push our women into things that they're still developing. We don't want to prematurely push me into a relationship that I'm still developing, or I'm still, I can't, and you're right. Maybe I can get a black man to come over here and do it. You go direct a few to come over here. I'm in Chicago. It snows a lot. So if you have any recommendations, I'll take them. I'm open to suggestions.
I'm praying for you, Woon, right now. You said you got 1,000 in line. I'm not gonna add to the fire.
Well, if you think you added your opinion, so you said, why don't I? So I thought you was adding
You got 1,000
suggestions, but if
lined
you're
up,
not
so I
being
think you got
helpful,
enough to deal with.
if you're just prying into my personal business and then you're not
That's
being
stuff
helpful,
that
then let's just
you
stop the
invited that
conversation
out.
there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got to the bottom of
You
it right
stated
there.
those things. I never tried to
And
go
you
into
said you're not willing to help, and you are a black man. So
I did not
that
say I
proves my
wasn't
point.
willing.
That
Hey,
proves
hold on,
my
hold
point.
on. I think Ruth trying to
I
say
never
something.
said I wasn't willing to help
My
you.
point, because I said you said go get a black man. I said you're a black man. You have any suggestions? You said at that point,
I'm suggesting
I
you.
can't
Hold on,
help
y'all.
you.
Hold on. I
That's
think
exactly the point I was trying to make. That when
Okay,
you
you
go
gotta
to a
listen
black
to
man
JR.
for help,
Ali,
hey, why don't you
Ali,
get somebody who's fucking you to do it?
Ali, go get Ruth in there.
Ali, I just wanted to respond to you. I have a different experience. When I got more in touch with my feminine side, like people do nice things all the time when you present, act, behave feminine, and then I also had to learn how to have a general respect for black men. You have to see their value inherently. Like you got to value them for them to come at bat for you. It's been so many times
I do that.
My car was stuck. It was always a black man with one exception that came to help me and helped me start my car. Imagine like many years. They always coming through. They always helping. Even a young black guy saw me carrying a case of water when I used to do like side hustles. The young ones too. I was very surprised. Helped me pick everything up. They carried things for blocks and blocks. And it's just like I don't know if it's like an energy that we have to like give off, but I had to. It wasn't natural to like because I know by the time I was 18, I already thought all men were cheaters, all men were liars. That's how I was spit out in the system. But I had to have my own experiences, and I had to realize like maybe they are lying about our black men, and they're all not like that, and we need to get to know them. And if we give them the benefit of the doubt first, they can show us something differently. So I'm just present that to you that it takes a lot of women don't have a general respect for men.
I agree with you, Ruth. I would say changing your mindset, and I think that's applicable for men and women. If we change our mindset and our expectations, and you have a different energy, you can get a black woman to do a lot, and you could get a black man to do a lot. It's really just how you come off and your energy, and also like being grateful and appreciative because don't nobody got to do shit for you. So I think we both can each side can get what they want from each other. It's just like how we present it, right? And how we come off. Because I know sometimes when you want something so bad and you feel like you're getting slapped in the face, it can subconsciously change our energy. And I think, especially as us women, black women, we're very strong and independent, and we kind of take on this energy. I don't want to say masculine energy. It's an energy that we sometimes take on as a defense. Got time for that. Like a defense mechanism energy. That's what we gonna call it, a defense mechanism energy. But I think once you release that and just be like flowy, then like you get better results from both men and women, and then it just trickles down. But
Okay,
yeah,
I just want to reply
Sometimes
to that to
can
y'all
I say
real
one more
quick.
thing? Can I say one more
Yeah, go
thing?
ahead.
and sometimes I get a little bit offended because it's like if I had to do this transformation, but the men don't have a general respect for women, that's why we can't hear you guys. That's why I always try to communicate. If you guys gave us the benefit of the doubt, a general respect, when we see every time y'all go to bat for each other, but when you don't give us the credit or you don't do little things, we notice that, and it makes us like, okay, now I gotta go back and defend the women no matter what. Not to say no matter what, but like first, and then I can see from your side. So if men did the same thing and had a general respect for women, I think we will get closer to a
Further.
solution.
Yes, Ruth. Yes. All
Thank
that.
you so much, Ruth, for that.
That was good,
Ruth,
girl.
you hit it right on the head.
So you
Indeed,
fluctuate.
indeed.
So you fluctuate whether you want to lean towards protecting women and men based
Real
off.
quick, let me reply to that, and then I'll let you go, Darwin, because that's what I was waiting and I was speaking. And it's funny how you don't interrupt them, but when I'm speaking, you interrupt me. That's funny. But listen, when I was replying to Darwin, I noticed that he has said he had this utmost respect and protection for his future daughter. And I hear every Black man I know say that. And that's why I made it a point to say, hey, let's humanize all Black women and let's treat them with the same respect you would a daughter, because that is someone's daughter. And you don't want to have my father come see you because he's loco for real. So this is why I mentioned that. And as far as women and Black women being, or you mentioned that Black men or the men on the panel, whatever, the first thing is let me come to the defense of other men. And if they did that for women too, we wouldn't be as defensive. I totally agree with that. I feel like I'm a lot on the defense, a lot like, let me protect every woman, no matter what color, but first Black women, because they are the most marginalized, because not only are they women, but they are Black. So that's a double entendre. That's a double whammy. You know what I mean? You just a Black man. So if you take away your skin color and get white, then guess what? You transform into some of the most powerful people on the planet. So we got to not only transform, so I'm saying anyways, I said all that to say, I agree with you. You do have to have a certain feminine energy. I don't have, what it is I am on the defense when I'm in a Black community living, because my neighbors all want to hit on me and date me, and it's hard to turn them down 10 times without getting knocked in your head. So maybe that's why they won't come over and shovel my snow versus the married white man next door who will come over with his snow blower.
Knock you on your head.
This is not my personal experience. I'm talking about as far as I am on the defense in Black neighborhoods, but I'm living in a multicultural neighborhood. This is the past. This right now is another reality, baby. I can't even hear you, Sweeney. So when I land, you can say what you got to say and ask me, and I'll answer. But like you said, I might be on the defense towards, Black men in my neighborhood. And that's maybe why they won't come over and mow my lawn and do that, because they have hit on me and I have ignored the passes, and maybe that's why. But my white neighbor would do it, and because maybe he has a wife and he doesn't want me sexually. So you all can answer, what's the solution to that in those cases when I am nice, but they're hitting on you and they feel rejected, and then you got to be defensive. What do you do in those cases?
So if you were walking down an alley, a dark alley, and it was a Black man and a white man, who would you trust to defend you if somebody was attacking you?
Honestly, the Black man, of course.
So sometimes when I hear you talking, it's like sometimes we jump to the most negative conclusion about men, and that's probably what we give off. It's like we just assume they're going to hurt us. We assume a Black man's going to hurt. But I'm telling you, a lot of them will come to your defense if you just give them a benefit of the doubt and just see them for who they are, and if they really wanted a date, just be flattered and don't be annoyed and just try to be humble every single time. That means like you look good every day, girl. You know what I mean? So just take it a different way.
Because when you nicer to them, even if they hit on you 100 times, if you nice, they'll still help you. Cause they don't they may just
And
like
what
your energy
neighborhood
and your
you live?
personality, you know, like I don't know.
I just think, you know what, honestly,
Man,
I
it took
think
almost 3
certain
hours for
people,
y'all to hold her accountable, man. I'm proud of y'all sisters.
it's not
Backhanded
holding me
compliment.
accountable.
Thank
It's
you.
not, I
We'll
don't need
take
to
it
be
from
held
Darwin.
accountable real quick. Let me tell you something. I have a team of Black men in my life that support every endeavor that so just because I'm holding Black men accountable on a global scale on this podcast doesn't mean that, oh, I think Black men ain't shit. No, that just means that, hey, these are things that I want you at. For example, Darwin, when you were expressing how you want to protect Black women, you were talking about a
You
daughter.
didn't let me go yet.
No, I'm talking about previously when you're talking about your daughter. So I'm saying, hey, incorporate all Black women into there because we all need protection. Then you told me go get a husband for that. Well, you know, I am single, and if I had that partner that came and was just like me, then I would have a husband, right? But during your vetting process and during your dating process, you're still figuring out the best partner for you, and that's allowed. That's
Hold on,
perfectly
you want me to
allowed.
respond to what you're saying, or are you lecturing right now?
I'm not lecturing. You just
Oh,
not
can I
listening.
respond real quick? So
You just ready to go.
No, I'm
So
just gonna
you
say.
didn't listen to nothing I said, but I'm a mute. And for the ladies, I appreciate your advice. I don't want it to be misconstrued as if I don't have a team of Black men that got me to where I am right now. And they are very much powerful men and women that are Black.
This is the last thing.
So,
This is the last thing.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Darwin. Let me in real quick. Do you know, like, men be watching our page? I'm gonna say it real quick, Darwin. I know you waited. They watch our page. So if a Black man hears you talking badly about another Black man, you already in their mind they kind of turned off to you. So you just
I
a lot
don't
of
care.
times.
I didn't say anything bad about a Black man. I told that man to protect you. And you sound like you're starting to sound like you don't listen either. So I'm trying to figure out what's going
I'm
on.
getting a
Where did I
lecture
say
now.
bad about Black men?
I'm
What
getting
did
a
I
lecture
say
too.
bad about Black men?
I'm telling you
I
how
said
they
that
are.
when
Don't
my
hold her
neighbor,
accountable.
he won't
I
clown
can't
my
believe it, Jesus. I can't
but my
believe it,
wife had to
Jesus.
live because he
I'm
married
telling you how they
and
are.
you took it as bad. So
No.
what is it? What I say
It's not
bad
me.
about Black men?
Listen. It's not me
And
taking it bad.
I don't have a lack of them because I don't care. I don't care to appease any men that listen to
I
this
don't care.
podcast.
That's enough for them
I
to be
don't
like,
care about
no,
that.
thank
I'm
you.
not
You
here
know
to
what I'm saying?
1,000 of these men. But go
They
ahead. What did
they
I
just
say
so
bad
picky.
about Black men again?
They say the men are so picky and they will rip apart everything you're saying. So everything that you're saying, they're going to use against you. That's all I'm telling you. Like everything you're saying, they might take offense to it, even if you don't mean it that way. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, Ruth, listen, I'm going to say this, and then Darwin, I want to hear from you. Listen, I appreciate what you're saying. I take it, and I take constructive criticism. I will say this, coming from my background and my selection and my I don't care about none of that. I really don't.
I don't care.
Because you know what? A man that's gonna date me, he knows I'm gonna talk like this anyways to his face. So he knows how I am. I am very pro Black woman. I'm not a feminist, I'm a womanist. And I believe that I protect the womb because that's where I come from. And then I protect my man because that's who I'm gonna build my family with. He got to protect me too. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
But
cool.
I'm sorry, Mr. Darwin. I don't want to cut you off anymore. I don't want you to think that I'm taking up the Black man. I'm not. I just want you all to protect me as a grown woman as well as your daughter.
Do so you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
All right. So to answer your question about my daughter, like I'm gonna protect her, and I think you follow protect Black women, period, because that's somebody else's daughter. But I'm not gonna render my protection or provide protection of another Black woman just simply because she's somebody else's daughter. That daughter could be very well deviating from her father, out here acting like some 304 on the street. Oh, what did we say we was gonna say for the streets? Acting like she's for the streets. I'm not gonna protect no woman that's out here for the streets that's deviating from her own father. She's not listening to her father. She's not gonna listen to me. Secondly, what are we protecting? What are we protecting you from is the question. Third, here goes some protection for you. You said you got 1,000 men. Well, I ain't gonna even touch on that. You said you got a team of men, a black man that's been around you and supporting you and guiding you and putting you in the situation. I say fire all them Negroes because they didn't guide you to the altar to get married. They ain't shit because you out here still in the streets begging motherfuckers in your neighborhood to come rake your leaves and shovel snow.
I didn't beg anybody to do anything, Darwin. You need to beg somebody for some Rogaine for your hair.
Oh,
and
God.
You need to also, are you single or are you married? Because you judge.
How do I act? Do I act married or single?
Are you act like you are a Kevin Samuels follower or reborn again Kevin Samuels guy, you know? Because you like the
you feel convicted.
I can say
so now you project.
Listen, because I said that I have a selection of men to choose from because I am a woman and I'm on the earth and it's 4.5 billion men on the planet. You all want to poison women to believe that without marriage, they have no value. You don't know if I walked down the aisle before or not. You're judging of what? You're personalizing everything that I say because of what? Because you can't have me?
No.
You're bald and you look
women
like
who recognize that they have a large selection of men to choose from.
Milk dud
No, women that recognize they have a large selection of men to choose from lack discernment. If you had discernment, you can be able to pick one and keep it moving.
You want to say that I can't be chosen, sweetie? I haven't chosen who I want. You see other way around.
It doesn't matter if you have a selection of men that you can open your legs to.
Well,
whether
listen,
you get
let's
chosen
not
for marriage is up to the
personalize.
man.
I don't want to talk about my dating life because I want to be respectful to any man that has ever dated me because he's of quality.
Well, what picture you think you paint right now?
Pardon me?
What picture do you think you painting for these men now?
I don't care about these men and what picture that's being painted. The man in my life, listen, the man in my life, like, the man in my life is good.
Pick one of
and
them.
Actually, I'll be needing to end the podcast real soon because we need to pray before I go to bed. But you know what? To be honest,
I can pray with you right now.
To be honest,
I'm trying to protect you.
You're a Hank Jr. I kind of felt it when you came on here. A Hank Jr.
Hank? So you gonna throw Hank up?
You're a Hank Jr.
But Hank is funny.
And it's funny, but let's not personalize anything. I know you took notes and you were patient and you wanted your roast off, but let's try not to personalize because I could write down some things that you've said and attack you personally, and then that will prove the point that we are battling, of the sexes.
You asked me to protect you, and I'm just trying to show you way. I'm trying to show you.
I don't need you. I didn't ask you for shit.
You did. You asked me specifically.
No, I asked the ladies. I don't care what you think.
But the lady did try to protect you, and she tried to hold you accountable, and
I said
snapped at her.
Ruth, I said thank you, Ruth, and I said thank you, Milas, for your opinion because guess what?
After she humbled you.
No, why you gotta twist it like that?
Okay, Ruth, no smoke. Okay, all right.
No, she didn't I liked her approach. She came at me humble, so I matched energy. Right. And that's really what relationships and connections are. You match energy. So when she came to me like, girl, listen, when I did this, I did that, I got this. I said, well, yeah, I got that too. I got people I'm talking about as far as a whole, as a community. I don't want to personalize and say, oh, I need to do this because my life, this ain't a Kevin Samuels roast off, Kevin Samuels Jr. Let me tell you something.
All I'm saying is,
you're not going to go there. You're not going to go there. You don't know me. You need to do some research over here because this ain't what you want. Over here is
I'm only going off of the information you giving me, sis. When you said you got 1,000, you said you got 1,000 men to select from.
Ruth,
that ain't no different than any women on this panel or any women watching.
But Ruth, listen, so thank you for even validating me like I'm not getting and not gaslighting me like I'm crazy.
No, you're right. It was my first year after my divorce, and nobody came to shovel my snow for the first time. I was like, oh no, I got to get me a bag.
And that's why Darwin telling me to get me a
man. Hey, light bulb. What did she just say?
Black men associate helping you with they gotta fuck you to help you or you gotta be family. You
That's
got to be
true.
family to help you. And no, I help my sisters. I help anybody. I help Black men, Black women. I don't care. That's my main two at the top. Y'all the two main two at the top of who I want to help, and then everybody else. When somebody be like, when I go to KFC, they be like, you want to donate the rest of your change to this fund? I say, is it Black? They say, I drive off. Because if it ain't
I do
Black,
that too. If it ain't Black, I don't got time for it. I feel you.
You give it to the Chinese. Too many of them. No, they getting too much money. They getting too much of resources. I got to compete with them in the work field. I want more of my sisters so they can hire me. They can see me coming in with my qualifications. I want my brothers to respect me as a woman, not just because they having sex with me. Plow me because I need to be plowed.
Let me fix it. It was day 2, so it was icy. So I felt like if it was day 1, they would have helped me. But day 2, I probably would be a hard headed. So they let me.
So look, you busting it open. That's your thing. But I'm saying, if you want me to protect you, the only protection I can
What
get.
did I say? I'm busting anything open. I'm gonna bust your big nugget head open.
She didn't say that now.
You said it's not just sex, not just having sex with him. So what is she talking about
that
then?
I want to bust the fuck open.
I'm trying to
and see
translate,
what's
but
in
he
it like
just
a
keep messing
damn.
it up.
You know them little things they have for the kids with the candy in there. I want to see. Is this motherfucker? Them little Kinder toy. Your hand look like a Kinder damn toy, baby. Look. You want to
Look, I'm not trying to
baby,
laugh.
Look, I'm not busting nothing open. I'm busting my Bible open in an hour with a young man that I'm dating. Seriously, I was talking about thousands because if it don't work out with him, then I'm not gonna be sad.
Are you celibate?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Bruh, y'all funny, bruh. Y'all funny.
It's my
Bruna was even
business.
laughing just now.
I'm sorry, somebody else need to go. Cause y'all love to ride. Sweeney, come on, ride.
I just wanted to pray for you. That's all. I wanted to pray with you.
Don't
You
let him hear
told me
you
you
say
wouldn't pray for me if I was Mary Magdalene in the damn church. You bogus. That's what I'm saying. Listen, at the end of the day, we are taking rubber bullets for you. If anything happens,
And you might surprise you, but I actually pray for you all the time. I actually pray for your type all
Darwin,
the time.
if anything happened to you, I'm gonna be the first to want to march in my community and take rubber bullets for you. That's all I'm saying. So that's all I want. The same type of reciprocity for us, so we can protect our seeds, so we could grow.
They ain't gonna take a real bullet.
We taking real bullet.
Rubber. I said rubber. I ain't gonna take no real bullet. Rubber. I'm marching and they come out with the rubber bullet.
Take a rubber condom, rubber bullet. Well,
Man, you wanted to talk about sex so bad. I'm an abstinent woman of God.
I thought y'all was
doing it.
How you taking a rubber bullet? I thought women was allergic to latex.
Because you like it raw. I'm tired of y'all.
I don't even know how
Y'all
that's
is
funny, but
nasty.
okay.
I'm muting myself.
Oh man,
The lady finna go pray. Y'all over here.
She got some crown in her coffee. That's what it is.
that good peach crown.
She the one that called me buzzard, I think.
Listen, Darwin, I just don't want you to turn it to a hint. We start arguing, going back and forth personally when we don't know each other.
If you listen to the stuff I'm saying, I'm actually trying to establish a meaning.
You called me a bust down. Shayna knows. Shayna knows all about it. She was on my first one and was, I don't know.
After name calling, we're not trying to hear it, Bruce. I'll be trying to tell you.
Why would you call me all them names? Golly.
I didn't call out her name.
You said I'd be busting it open, and
y'all like the kid that cursed and don't even know they cursed. Y'all call names so much that you don't even know when you saying something rude.
I think y'all interpretation is a little bit off, but it's okay. I mean, that's the reason why we say you need a man in your life so he can help you with discernment.
Do you call men 304s, or do you say talk like this to men though? If you talk like this to men, then maybe we could accept it better. But you don't.
Have you ever heard me? Have you ever heard me? Have you ever watched King Talk?
Because it'll be a fight like Sweeney and
you ever watched King Talk?
You ever watched King Talk?
Ruth, he does. He in the midst of a fight right now with a panelist that's been going on for like 3 weeks. Yeah, this is what he does.
Well, Darwin, listen, I'm gonna let you roast me. I apologize for even trying.
I'm not even trying to roast you. That's the crazy part.
I gotta let people roast me. And I just gotta take it. And they don't, but I don't like people putting the wrong, like you said, men gonna see this, and then you like You heard her say that, so you say, okay, let me call a hoe so that men won't like her. But I don't have a problem. I don't have a deficit in men approaching me. I'm actually running. I'm running to God. Okay, I'm not running to no man, and I don't care about what I say to, because the wrong man, the right man ain't gonna care what I say.
Guess what God gonna tell you to do when you run to him? He gonna tell you to run to a man.
Did you say the right man ain't gonna care what you say?
He gonna tell your ass to turn around and do another lap. And I'm telling you, I'm not throwing shade at you or trying to roast you. What you doing is I'm just using your information. Basically, what you doing is you standing 2 feet away from a wall and you throwing rocks at it and you ricocheting yourself. That's all you doing. I'm not making nothing up. I'm just getting the information that you got. I love black women. I protect black women, but
no,
I have
you don't. You didn't protect me tonight. You called me. Your first chance you wanted to paint me as a whore because I'm beautiful. And that's fine because a lot of beautiful women who are black are portraying themselves as whores. That's why I mentioned the DM talking about, oh, you gonna pay for my time. That's prostitution.
So like, what do you call it? What do you call a woman who has 1,000 men at her beck and call?
I said
not
that.
married, not covered.
Listen.
That's just a phrase.
You asked me who was at the table, meaning metaphorically speaking. Yeah. So if I am dating a gentleman, I am cognizant well enough to know that if it doesn't work out with him, there are other men out here. I'm not going to bury myself. This ain't the 1900s where, oh my God, he's old. My date, I've been seen in public with him and can't no man be seen. Like, come on, I can't get a man no more. Oh, massa. Oh, he done kissed my cheek. Lord, I can't get another man. Oh, I done said that on the podcast. Oh, Lordy. He gonna see me and he ain't gonna like these curves. Oh, God.
I used to say something, right? I used to say, like, if this don't work out, I'm gonna be done with men forever. And then I had to like repent and tell God, like, look, I can't ask you for a husband and then say I'm done with men forever. So I feel like I was easily dismissing men, and that was part of the disrespect. And I had to learn not to say that. So I was like, all right, I'll never say that again. And then I got the relationship of my dreams. So just to throw that out there.
Ali, quick question.
Good for you, Ruth.
Quick question.
Thank you, Casey.
So I get it. You got 1,000 men that's chasing after you on this side who just trying to get the draws.
You know what, sweetie?
Hold on, wait. Wait, let me finish. You got to let the whole statement come out before you react. And then you also say, but then also on the other side, so I get it. That might be a very problematic group that you're dealing with, so you turning away from them. You like, nah, I can't deal with these niggas over here. All they want is this from me. But then you said you got a group of men on the other side that give a whole lot of a fuck about you. They worry about you. They care about you. They want to see the best for you. They want all of this. All I'm asking is, what is the problem with them? Pick one of them niggas.
Queenie, listen. Okay. If we're talking about my personal life, because when I normally talk, it's general. I'm talking about my sisters, my Black women, and what I need us as a whole to do. And I'm willing to help and participate. So that's what I'll be talking about. But personally, I'm dating someone serious. Once it gets serious, we're serious and we're dating towards marriage. We're going to church. We're talking about finances. We're talking about credit. We're laying down dreams and goals. And I'm like, how can I invest in you? How can you invest in me? We're moving. What I meant by 1,000 men, because he asked me, who am I at the table with? And I'm not married. A table is built amongst a wife and a husband. And let's make it clear. I have no ring on my finger.
You sound like you would be the husband in the relationship. You talking about all the things in the direction of relationship you said it would go if it were to got serious. All the things that a man would say. Whenever you aren't the one who makes the decision how the direction of the relationship go.
Because I'm not a stupid person that's gonna wait for a man to tell me that and I say, oh, that's how relationships go. I'm not a young 20-some-year-old girl.
And that's why you're in a situation.
I'm not a 20-year-old girl that's never been in a
You
relationship.
can't be led. You just stated that you can't be
No,
led.
actually, that's your opinion. You can't lead me, and you have a problem with that. And because you're not my man, you're not my husband. You're not anybody that spent any time, effort to court me. Not any effort, any time to court me, but somehow you think you should be able to lead me in conversation in this podcast, and it don't work like that.
Ali, a lot better than a lot of other women. I would give you a lot of credit because you can compromise and you can humble yourself, and you have a lot of other skills. You know, as you
When
just
has
keep
she
tweaking as you
compromised and
go.
humbled
Well,
herself?
thank you. Well, he want me to get on my knees. Damn, what do you need from me, black man?
Right, but a lot of
What
women
do you
won't even do
need?
what she's doing. If you being honest, a lot of women would not go this far at all. They don't say sorry. They don't apologize. They don't humble. They don't say sir. She's going a long way. So if she could get a guy to meet her halfway, she'll be all right.
I agree.
When
I
you
agree
said,
too.
Ruth, you remember when Darwin Bruiser said, "Oh man, this is the first time y'all actually held her accountable in 3 hours," and y'all said, "What did they say? Oh, I can hear the backhanded compliment."
I said that about Darwin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we getting right now. It don't come off like that.
Who's giving a backhanded compliment? From
I'm
me?
just saying, like when you was describing what Ali is doing, like, nah, we not
Think
getting.
about a majority of black women right now, and they got an attitude and they'll cuss you out. She didn't blow up. She didn't cut off her camera. I'm just saying she's growing and working on herself. So to say she's never gonna get what she wants, if she keeps going down the right path and she gets more people to share their positive experiences, she don't have a lot of women probably sharing positive experiences. So the more we do it, the more she's like, you know what, that's a good point. It's not that often that you say a good idea to a woman and they like, you know what, I'm gonna run with that. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna grow from that. A lot of women don't do that. So
They don't.
I'm just saying, give her a little credit. It's okay.
All right, hold tight real quick, man. People, I had one more topic, man. Y'all could just get another 15 more minutes real quick. And some people, huh? I mean, if you got it, if you got to go, I understand. Let me go ahead and slide this up in there real quick.
That's what I said.
Pause.
I gotta set myself up. All right, it's from your girl, man. And she's a familiar face, but she says never tell a new guy what the old guy let you get away with. Is that true, ladies? I'm gonna play this clip, and I'm gonna go to some of the ladies who've been quiet.
Tell the new guy what you let the old guy get away with. I don't care how badly he treated you. I don't know why women do that. I don't know why women go into new relationships telling this new guy about all the atrocious things that you put up with before. You don't want to tell him all the horror stories that other man put you through.
Yeah, you're going to be perceived as dumb. You're not going to be perceived as kind and forgiving, and you're going to be perceived as dumb. I think in the past, the victim place was a good place to be for some women. Some women found solace in the new man, in telling the new man what the old man had done. But that's not how things work. It actually works against you. Once you tell a new guy that, oh, I left my other guy because he cheated on me 5 times, now that's his threshold for how many times he should be able to cheat on you.
Now he like, okay, 4 times.
Exactly.
4 times,
yeah.
Okay.
And you might have grown to a point in your own space, right, where you say 1 time is going to be too many times, right? That might be your new standard.
Mm-hmm.
But if the guy cheats on you 1 time and then you say, you know what, I'm drawing the line here, he's going to say, oh, but you let the last guy cheat on you 4 or 5 times. But now I make 1 mistake and now you're ready to, to hit the road. But the truth of the matter is that you messed up by even letting him know that your standards were too low in the past.
All right, let's go hop into it real quick. Go ahead, Mila. What are your thoughts about that? Don't let the new guy know anything.
I can agree to, I think it could be at your detriment because people are manipulative and they gonna take advantage. I also think it just depends on the guy too, right? I won't say that could be a bad thing for everybody. I think you just have to have a little bit of discernment of what you share with people, especially in the stages of the dating process. You shouldn't be oversharing. I think it's good to establish those boundaries. But I think certain things you just don't need to bring to your new relationship, period. Like if you're starting with a new person, just with a fresh start and be mindful of things, be very discerned. You got to have your discernment. I think that's the key. Because people will manipulate you. Yeah. But I don't really got a lot of relationship experience like that, y'all. So I'm probably not the best person to ask, but that's what I would say.
All right, go ahead, Trev.
Yeah, I completely agree that can be used against you depending on the person, right? So I always advise people to be very careful about what you discuss in the beginning because, like she mentioned, you definitely people will look at the thresholds like, oh, okay, well, and us as men, usually we're not trying to hear anything you let the last guy do. I'm not even trying to hear it. I'm gonna be able to do that too, or you don't love me the same. Damn it, that's just how I feel about it. So, not to say that I would want to cheat on a woman several times or whatever, but that I'm just saying whatever you tolerated from somebody else, don't try to get brand new on me. That's just how I feel, or men. A lot of men feel in general. So, the only sticky part about it is, let's say I ask this question. What if I ask you, have you been cheated on before? Are you now to be deceitful? Are you to be withdrawn? Are you supposed to just be dishonest now and say, well, no, I never got cheated on, but really you did. So, I mean, that's the hard part about it. I wouldn't really offer that information, but if asked, I mean, the best policy is honesty. No matter what it is that you're doing, you're still going to have to discern no matter what. You can't avoid it. You're going to have to vet no matter what. You just don't put yourself in that type of situation. And you're going to have to let people know that you do have boundaries, right? It is what it is. You just, when you're having these talks, you just have to let them know that there's something that you're not going to tolerate, right? They can think what they want, but it's up to you to accept what you're going to accept and not accept what you won't. You don't allow people to walk all over you. If cheating is a no-go for you, then that's something that you shouldn't tolerate. You should have zero tolerance for it. So no matter how you do it, you're still going to have your own boundaries. You can't just say, all right, now, because I told this person this, they just going to be cool. Okay, so they know not to do that. Nah, you're going to have to vet. Experience is the best teacher, right? I always say try not to make the same mistakes with people. So if you know that this is where you went wrong with your last relationship, then you're going to have to do better the next time. But it all depends on what type of man that you're dealing with. And it's not just a man thing, it's a human thing, because females understand that too, right? So they'll see like, okay, well, he let his last chick run him, or she didn't respect him, so I'm not going to respect him. So you just have to understand, get with somebody who's going to respect you. You have to get with people who have the habits that go along with what it is that you're planning for in the first place. So that's the real way around it. It's going to be within your vetting, and it's going to be within your discernment. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself.
All right. We'll go to Marcus then. Shan. Marcus, what are your thoughts about that?
When I used to be toxic, I 100% agree. If you let him cheat 5 times and you don't let me cheat 6, you like him more. But then I grew up and I don't feel that way no more. And I use it to navigate, to not hurt you. Like, all right, well, you have an issue with gaslighting, right? Because the last person you was dating gaslit the shit out of you. So I'm gonna make sure I'm intentional about not putting myself in that situation where it even can appear that way. So I use it to navigate you better. But there was a time when I might have used it the other way. Not even gonna hold you. When I was much younger. Yeah. So I think it depends on who you run into. I would say the best advice would be instead of just coming out saying, I let this person do this, just communicate it via your boundaries that you have an issue with certain things. You don't have to say you let anybody do it. Because again, that's part of the toxicity of you're not gonna let no other man have more, you'll do more than I did. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even got to go down that road. Just explain like, I this is a hard no for me, and then we can move forward from there. I think that's probably the best way to go about that.
But don't they do that on the dating apps? No, this, no that, no that. You already know she went through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if you do that, they still gonna know.
But we don't know the extent. You know what I'm saying? Like If you say no cheating and you leave after one time getting cheated on, okay, I get it. But if you say no cheating and you told me you let dude cheat for 2 years and then you finally left and then you leave me after one, you don't love me. Mm-mm.
I don't understand it,
Maybe
man.
he's sexual.
So in other words, Marcus still actually believes that he still has that ideology. He just doesn't utilize it like he used to.
No, I'm saying right now I use it to make sure I don't hurt the person.
No, I get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
You still have that ideology though that if that nigga cheated on you 7 times, and you break up with me after the first time I fuck up, you don't love me. But he tries to navigate by not doing it. He says, okay, I understand that you got cheated on, so therefore I'm not gonna participate in the cheating.
Yeah. No, I got some. That's probably my. I told you I'm a line stepper. So if you drew a line, I kind of want you to move the line for me. But I'm gonna do it positively. But I am a line stepper. Let's.
That's fair.
We all got some slightly toxic. Well, not we all. I'm gonna say I have. That's my one slightly toxic trait. Like I be trying to drive through the fork in the road. So I'm gonna do what I want to do. And if you put a constraint on me, it's gonna make me really want to do what I want to do. So yeah.
Oh no, Shane's supposed to go next. Shane's supposed to go.
Yeah, go ahead, Shane.
It's my turn.
Yes, ma'am. I never tell the new guy what the old guy let you get away with.
I'm not telling him anything. Why were we talking about exes in a new relationship? I'm not talking about that. I know people may ask. First of all, I'm not going to volunteer information. But if he says, okay, what was, why did you and your ex break up? I may say he's cheating. That's all. He was cheating. I stopped because he was cheating. I'm not going to be like, oh, he cheated on me 1,001 times. And no, that's way too much information. For what? I'm not giving out that much information. And I will hope. So fortunately, I haven't been in a situation where people just want to know about my ex. Thank God. No. Because I don't want to know about yours.
What?
Do y'all ask those questions when y'all in a relationship? Oh, tell me about your ex.
Well, it's not tell you about your ex, but I think that you should. I think a person that wants to know like how you function, I think you can kind of measure that based off the previous relationship that you've been in. So it's not to get personal, but it's more so to get to know a little bit more about you and how you function. So if you was to say, well, it was toxic, then that would probably lead me to want to go a little bit further and question and to try to figure out like how was it toxic? You might have been the person that was contributing to it, and that may give me a little bit more insight as far as how I'm gonna deal with you. So I think asking the right questions is important. I don't think enough people ask enough questions, and that's something that I didn't often do, but it's something that I had to learn. So if you ask the right questions, then you can learn a lot. And I don't see anything wrong with asking questions about your previous relationship, because if you really think about it, it didn't work out. So it's going to be in the form of trauma, because it's another bad experience, another bad relationship that now I'm getting not necessarily a leftover, but as a result of what happened in your previous relationship, now you're starting a new one and it's with me. I need to know what I'm getting myself into.
Now, I will say that I did ask that question, but that person was married. And so I wanted to know, why didn't the marriage work? So for me, when I'm asking a question, it's going to be on that level. I don't care about the girlfriend, but if you are married, which is a lot of the men that I date now, I want to know, well, why didn't that marriage work? I don't necessarily, just for me. And I haven't had, well, I've never been married, but them ask. Now I have said, okay, what will happen between you and your last relationship? But it's usually a small little one-liner. I don't get into detail, so I'm not giving out that information. Not that it was bad. It's just.
I mean, that's what some people do too. Some people don't ask questions because they don't want them same questions asked to them.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is, but I figure I'll find out.
Well, I guess I'm different than other men. I don't look at opportunity based on what somebody else did, another man did. I base it off of my own individual leverage. So if I feel like that's what I want to do, I weigh the pros and cons and whether or not I can pull it off based on my own abilities, not based on what she allowed some other man to do. And I don't move like that. Never have moved like that. And if I just don't understand it. Like, even if you say, I think Marcus said the reason why you don't do it is because you don't want to hurt the other person. But you're not looking at you're not really self-convicted, like how you look as a man who's betraying, you know what I'm saying, somebody he's supposed to confide in you and you know, look at you as somebody trustworthy. That don't make you feel
I
that ain't
confided
enough
in
for me.
you, Darwin.
No,
Huh?
not at that time. Mm-mm.
I said I confided in you, and you know.
Man,
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just.
I'm married. I'm
So
sorry.
Cause you,
Darwin,
I was just. I
answer your
didn't mean.
question.
Oh, see, it gotta be sexual. My bad. I'm sorry. I just
Dar-
said as a podcast member. Ugh.
Darwin,
And,
answer.
and I agree. So I agree with you too, Bruiser, because I feel like when you ask questions like that, you're a different man than the other guy. I could be a totally different person to you because you're bringing me a totally different energy than I would bring another guy. Y'all have two different personalities. I may just not be compatible with that person, but I'm compatible with you. So it can just be two different types of.
Substitute
Put
better,
a pause.
different,
Pause.
and we
Just say
good.
pause. Please don't.
I really don't listen to when women tell me they've been cheated on. I really don't really buy it for real like that. I don't buy into it because it's always a one-sided
They've been
story.
cheating on.
Or they've been
Don't believe
cheating. Like
women
he
be
cheated on me
cheating,
5 times. It
Bruiser says,
stops that
believe
there's no
all
really
men.
no details or no
Believe
context
all men.
behind what
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
caused this
Why?
man to cheat.
Is it hard for you to believe that or something?
No, it's not hard for me to believe it. It's just incomplete. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'm always a why did I always ask 5 whys when I talk to when I have any conversation about somebody explaining something that happened to them. I'm always asking, okay, why did that happen? Okay, why were you there? Okay, why did he look at you this way? I'm asking all of the whys. But whenever you give a person the floor on how they got offended, they always leave it. They stop it at, oh yeah, he offended me this many times. Why? What was you doing? Oh, you find out then that motherfucker was probably cheating too, or she pushed this man out of the house, told him he couldn't come back home, and now he ended up meeting up with some joint and going out and drinking and smoking and making a bad decision. I mean, I'm not justifying, but there's details that matter, and it's sort of like some of the stuff we touched on last Thursday about the details. But I don't want to go back down that rabbit hole.
So,
Bruce,
Darwin,
Wait, I want to know: have you ever cheated? Since you
No,
get personal with me, have you ever cheated, Darwin?
I'm not disclosing my personal information. Keep it moving.
Exactly. So you just said you don't believe
Bruiser.
that a woman has ever
I
been
don't cheat
cheated
on my
on, but
wife.
you've done
I
it.
don't cheat on my wife.
But you have. I'm not said wife. I said cheated on a woman before. You said, "Oh, I ain't gonna disclose." Meaning you have. So meaning, why is it unfathomable that a woman could be cheated on? That seemed like gaslighting.
No, all
101.
I'm saying is when you do something to somebody, there's factors that influence you to also make those decisions. That's all I'm saying. And that is always often left out of the conversation.
yeah, actually,
I
because
agree.
to a degree, right? So in my mind, right, as a barber, one thing I learned doing this shit is you're the coldest barber in the world until you're not. I've had so many clients come in and sit in my chair and tell me how I'm the coldest barber in the world, but their old barber was also the coldest barber in the world. But now their old barber ain't shit. And then they start telling their stories about what happened. Then you find out, oh, that person's been late 5 or 6 times, and then they barber finally fired them as a client, or they stop returning their phone calls or something like that. You're like, oh, so now you're telling me everything that happened. Or I recognize the situations that I've had people go out and tell other barbers that I was trash. And then they come and ask me, like, hey, bro, I got one of your old clients. I'm like, yeah, that person showed up late and didn't pay the late fee. So I canceled this appointment. And now I'm the worst barber in the world. So, and I guess that's to what Bruiser is talking about, is that in these instances, they tell you half a story. So all this shit happened to you, and then the wise is okay, so what did you do in a relationship? When I ask you what happened in your last relationship, I'm not asking what happened to you. I'm asking what happened.
So all right, so
And that can
Sweeney,
go both ways, men and women. Men be lying too. They don't say I cheated.
Sweeney,
5, 6, 7, 8,
I
9,
think
10
I think the reason that I don't really be asking that is because I've been in a situation where it was absolutely nothing that she did wrong that made that shit go on. It just was a lot of women and they was going. I engaged as a younger man. Like that's all it was. It was just that.
Yeah,
It
that,
wasn't doing nothing wrong.
well, I'm from the
I
perspective
think
of
that
if I was to ever ask that question, is no one trying to get a gauge on how they behave in relationships and stuff, and how like I want the total story. I don't want to know what happened to you, because most of the time if you ask, you're asking about the entire relationship. But especially if somebody come in and start volunteering information to you, talk about, oh man, my last relationship, this person did this. I already start looking at that with a side eye.
Sweeney, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you weren't done. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
So my question is, let's say it was Marcus's scenario that the man did, like she honestly didn't do anything. Is it that you would believe like every woman had done something to get cheated on, or some women just it was no reason, just the man wanted to cheat?
No, I totally believe that there's instances where that happens as well. But that's what I'm saying. Like I would want a complete story, a complete story of it. There's always a complete story. I just don't. I think when people ask those questions about people's previous relationships, they're asking for a complete story, not just what happened to you.
So
And
Sweeney,
real quick, I just want
She doesn't say it.
sometimes when women come up here, they'll say something like, I think I did everything right in the relationship and he still cheated, right? And then they get a whole lot of pushback. And I'm like, it's literally happened before to me. So I know it's true. Not maybe for her specifically, but I know it happens that way. So I think maybe that's why I kind of give more leeway. Like it might not necessarily be nothing she did. Like she might not have no blame to carry based off of that.
I think
now,
a
I'm
woman
sure there
who-
are
I think a-
relationships that go both ways, but you say
I
what?
think a woman who
real
feel like
quick?
she done everything in a relationship and still get cheated on kind of find it hard to break up because there's no closure. That's like, okay, why is he leaving me?
Yeah. That might be why it
Well,
lasts a long time.
it's
But I
where-
will say the karma from that is once you lose a woman, you like, man, she was on point with everything, and I messed this up. Then you can change. So she look at it as paying forward because you help make
She not
me
the
a
same.
better man. Because I'm like, damn, she did all this shit.
That's
and I
why it's
didn't.
important to get married.
Usually
That's
when
why
a
it's
woman
important.
cheats, she ain't the same anymore. I mean, when a man cheat on a woman, she might be hurt so bad, it might be totally broke. You might need to start a whole new relationship. But I do want to add my little point before I have to go about never tell a guy, the new guy what an old guy let you get away with. I think that when people go on these dates and you're starting a new relationship and they start off like Sweeney said, talking about what the next person did to them, that's a victim mentality. It's a lack mentality, and it shows me you haven't healed, because here I am, a whole brand new person, just got put on my nice dress, put on my nice heels to come to this date, and you're telling me about this drama like I'm your therapist. That seems like something you need to be discussing in therapy. I'm pissed. And I've had it happen before. And they say, oh, I'm healed and it's hateful.
I can't believe it.
It's ridiculous. And first of all, not only do I want to keep it real light and fluffy like a pancake the first 2 months, I don't want to hear about that stuff. Go to therapy. And then when we start to, get to know each other on a deeper level, and I start to see things I don't like, or I start to see things that you might have blockages in, then we can start to say, oh, that happened in my last relationship. And that, that's why I do that. And then if it pertains to what we're doing. But if you're still holding on to something and talking about, oh, she was a gold digger, she'd like to use me for money, or baby, you sound real crazy to me. And I don't want to go out with you because you don't sound healed. And I'm gonna end with this. You're not taking accountability on the part that you play. Even if a person did cheat on you, what were the signs in the relationship that showed this disconnect, where the man was not giving you what you needed, not providing anything? The relationship usually changes. Was he staying out all night? How did this happen? And what did you do? Did you stay? Did you try to work it out? Why would you even be in a situation where you in a relationship with somebody who would cheat on you and lie to you? That's like your friendships. Do your friends lie to you? Do they cheat on you? You chose good friends. So why wouldn't you choose a good partner that you sleep with?
Sweeney,
My
you all
friends
right,
don't
man?
lie to me. But I agree with you, Sweeney. It's a red flag for me. Keep it to yourself and keep it out in therapy. And then if it pertains to this relationship, we can address it. But you should have already healed and walked away from that.
Ruth, I think I was answering your question before she
Micah,
started.
you say you wanted to
Go
answer
ahead.
my question?
Yeah.
Before she go, I wanted to say, people were saying that I folded and that like I'm enabling
You
bad
gotta start
behavior,
reading
but
that.
I think that nah, it's okay. I don't take it personal. I just think that sometimes men don't know how to speak to women, and like you have to have positive reinforcement for where people are doing good, and they're going to be encouraged to do good. If I do that with my man, then I'm going to do it with my friends or my coworkers. So if you have some kind of positive reinforcement, they might take that nugget and work on themselves. So that's all I want to say before you leave. I ain't want to say anything behind your back. To answer the question, I think when you meet with somebody new, you can't. I used to be one of those people that tell the sob story, but I don't, because I feel like that's what they were doing. I was like, oh, that's why this other person did this. So little by little, like you said, like Ali said, just when it's starting to get serious, then you tell them a little bit more at a time. It used to be like, I want to tell my whole life story, and but we stop doing that once you mature. Sometimes if a man reveals what happened with his ex, that could be a positive thing, because it's like a man told me he broke up with a girl because she didn't respect him, and that was the first thing I liked about him. I was like, oh, you broke up with a woman? And like, that don't happen every day. You know what I mean? So it can go the right way too. So I think if somebody tell you that somebody did them wrong when they were in the last relationship, it's up to you to have the integrity, because I could have did what I wanted with that information, but I was like, I decided to treat you well, even though somebody let you get away with murder, because we know that men can be sensitive for their woman. If you do a little bit for a man, he does a whole lot for you. We don't believe that, but when you experience it, you understand what that means. And so that's why you have to make sure you have that integrity, not, oh, somebody did you dirty, I could do you dirty too. That speaks to our lack of morals and our lack of integrity. That's all I had to say.
Hold on, Ruth. Hold on. So what they're talking about in the chat. So me and Ali have gotten into it a couple of times in the past. And one thing I am is a realist. If anybody who knows me personally, I don't hold line to anything that's fictional, fake. I'm very real, I'm very straightforward, and I'm very true to myself and what I believe and where I come from. Ali, I do see a change in you and how you perceived and listened. You actually acknowledge Sweeney points when a lot of times in the past, regardless of what Sweeney was saying, you were not trying to hear him. You actually acknowledged Darwin when you felt that he made a point. So regardless of what the chat is saying, I've been here a long time, and I've also been here with Ali. Ruth, the way you did talk to Ali, and she disagreed with you, but she still respected you. Like I do see a difference in you, Ali, and I respect how you came on here tonight. You got to acknowledge people when you see growth and when you see them doing things wrong. You can't hold people to what they were in the past and what how you perceive them or experience them in the past. If you see a difference, stand up and acknowledge what's true, regardless of what the history is. There is a difference, and I'm not gonna sit here and just not say nothing and stand by like it's not the truth. It is the truth. Ali definitely acknowledged when she was wrong, when she could have looked at things differently, which she did not do in the past, but she definitely did it tonight. So the chat, Ruth, ignore the chat. Ali, ignore the chat. It is what it is. Like, this is a mature conversation tonight. If you can't respect that, everybody in here has grown on different points of view. In the back chat before we started, I said my husband definitely told me that I could think differently and should think differently about Angel Reese in the conversation we had last week. When you are a woman that can be corrected and also can face the truth and some accountability for maybe your thoughts needing to progress or be mature about certain things, like, let's acknowledge when people have growth or when people can actually stand back and say, oh, okay, I hear you on that. Acknowledge that, and don't try to turn a blind eye just for the sake of this is a panel and it's a podcast and it's entertainment and X, Y, and Z. Like, let's be real. So I just want to say that.
That was amazing, Casey. And I learned that from Andrea. I had my preconceived notions about her, and the same. I've seen Ali in the past, and I could have went in like, oh, this is the way she is, but she's not even like that today. She still, she has her points where she's right, and she does stand up for Black people, and I think that if men can, like, sometimes we talk a certain way to get through to each other. Just let us do our thing, and but I learned and grow too since I've been on here. So appreciate y'all.
All right.
I'll say thank you guys. I really appreciate you all acknowledging that. You didn't have to take the time out to do that. Wow, I didn't even know it. Usually I'm stubborn, like, girl, I had it together
Right,
the
you
first
be
time,
against
but
me, and I be
but,
for you.
but I'm
Right,
like, oh
exactly.
god damn. Maybe I am growing. God, maybe I'll become a family. God damn it. That's why I put that wine. That it's water, but y'all think it's wine when I'm drinking it. But now I put my fake wine down tonight. But no, Mr. Darwin, I mean, I appreciate everything you said, and I mean, I'm trying not to come across as so hard on my Black men, but I do understand the agenda. And I target my Black men because I do see you all as leaders in our community. And my father led me. And, that's what I want. So when I'm addressing you all, please don't take it as I'm directing it towards you all. I'm talking to you all because you all are husbands and leaders in your family. So I'm asking you all for, advice, and, maybe we
I'm gonna
can
give it
come
to you.
together.
Just listen,
Go
okay?
ahead.
I'm just saying we're gonna give it to you, and if you want me to believe you, just gotta listen. Like all the stuff I was
Listen.
telling you.
You got to listen to me too. You can't attack me.
No, I'm
because
listening. I'm just saying. I'm just saying all the things I
You
told you
can't
about.
attack me because I'm
It
single
was
and
one. It was all kumbaya.
I just want to say, just because I don't have a husband, don't mean I'm a Jezebel, Mary Magdalene, out in the damn brothel, going from man to man. That's all I'm
pulling
trying to
for you.
say.
I'm pulling for you. I want you to succeed. I
And
want
when
you
I
to
ask
find it.
you for protection, it ain't before as a,
Oh,
to
so now you
disrespect
agree
your
that you
wife.
asked me for protection. Nah, okay,
No, I
then. You
did, but
growing. You
not to
growing. You know that you
disrespect
growing,
any.
girl.
Oh, I did, but not to disrespect any wives. I think we all as Black women need protection overall. There's and Black men, there's an agenda against you. When I birthed you, I'm gonna protect you. So I need that same kind of energy towards all of the Black women. I don't care if they shaking ass or whatever. They are just misled. They need a little bit of help. Or maybe if I can't judge. I'm just still going to put a protection over them with my energy, the way I think, the way I speak, the way I handle myself, the things I do in my community. I don't care what you do. You could do a million penises every night. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to give you food.
Oh, no. That's where you drop the ball at. That's where
Okay,
your
that's
growth.
what I'm going to mute. That's what
Just
I'm
throwing
going
rocks
to
at the
mute.
wall.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta just like shorten your speech because sometimes you just may.
She throwing
Yeah,
rocks at the
Lapeef,
wall.
I'm sorry. Whatever, Lapeef.
I always tell my man, I said the war is not in here, it's out there. So Black man, Black woman, the war is not within us, it's outside of us.
So ain't none of y'all gonna hold her accountable for what she just said at the end.
Well,
Sister.
You say a lot. You say a
Come
lot
on,
of
sister.
crazy stuff too.
Darwin,
Oh,
Darwin.
Lord.
At the,
Oh,
no,
Lord. Not a sister's
at
no.
the,
Everybody
no,
gonna
no,
bash
Hold
you.
on, y'all. Hold on. I think Casey's saying something.
no. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I don't have to agree with everybody on this podcast to respect them. Like, I stand on what I believe in, and that's why I'm on here to share what I think and what I believe and what I should spread to the world and have whatever my influence is and what I stand on. And I stand on respect and principle, and I stand on what I think and what I believe. I don't have to agree with Ali being another grown woman. I don't have to agree with her. That's why sometimes I'm silent because I'm not going to argue with someone my point when I know they stand on what they believe in, right? So sometimes I'm not gonna be on here to convince somebody in a 5 minute or 40 minute or however long we're on here on a podcast. I'm not gonna stand here and argue back and forth. And I wouldn't do that in real life. So I definitely wouldn't do it on a podcast where this is gonna be stamped forever. So I'm not gonna step outside of my frame and who I am and who my parents raised me to be, to argue with somebody to make them and beat them into what I think they should feel and how that I think that they should conduct themselves. The only thing that I stood up and said is that I see growth in how she's talked and not being disrespectful and like literally stepped outside and battled and all that type of stuff. If you've been here, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is tonight, I've not seen that. So I'm giving her kudos on that. Point blank, period. That's it.
And just so you guys know, we're not gonna call it a podcast no more. We're gonna call it a seminar. So if you ever asking anybody anything, just say, "Are you coming to the seminar tonight?"
I'm the lecturer in the 101.
Yeah.
Come on. So yeah, don't let them do you like
now
that.
she agrees. She been lecturing. She growing. She growing.
They out here trying to put negative connotations on podcasts. Just because a lot of the podcasts you motherfuckers listen to are fucked up doesn't mean that they all are. Y'all like we can't let people words mean things.
It's a seminar. Seminar.
Sweeney got the podcast word stuck in his LLC, so he got to defend it.
Goddamn right, shit.
I can't wait till they end podcast. Then he gonna be stuck with that name.
I love my name. It's also my barber name. I'm not tripping. But no, man, what was that? What was I think I was supposed to be trying to answer one of Ruth's questions.
Yeah, I think we gotta start trying to wrap it up a little bit too, man. I know, folks is tired, getting a little tired, so let's make sure we get to the people who haven't responded. Go ahead, Sweeney.
What was your question again, Ruth?
Oh, like if a woman, you talking about the one when I said if a woman was said she got cheated on, and like would you believe her? Like, do she have to go through like the 3rd degree for you just to believe her that it really wasn't her fault? I know a lot of women are not self-aware; they don't know what they did wrong. But I also wanted to add, like, if she has good character and she said she ain't really do nothing, I mean, you could probably believe that. But if she has like bad character, you could probably know that she did something too.
Oh yeah, I think there are instances where somebody get cheated on, but like in that instance, right? Because Marcus actually threw himself in the fire on that one, right? And sometimes you will ask them a question 3 layers deep, and you find out that the motherfucker was a chronic cheater before she even got with him. You're like, oh, well, yeah, I can see why he cheated because that's what he do. You know what I mean? Like, you just like, there's always a rhyme or a reason for why things happen. So
Don't
like,
say always, Sweeney. This is the point. You saying it's always the woman's fault that a man's cheating.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say it was her fault. I said there's always a rhyme or a reason. Things don't just happen out of nowhere. Either they was like chronic cheaters beforehand, or something happened, or they felt left out. Because like, for instance, right? I'll give you an example. One of my guys, right? He was dating this woman. And he had broke up with her. Like she was supposed to be like, they was living together for a while, but he was about to he broke up with her and he was just waiting on her to move out. But they were texting back and forth, and she started talking about, I've done everything for you. I did everything for you. And she started listing all the things she did for him. She was like, yeah, I bought your dad a Father's Day gift. I went to your mama house for Sunday dinner. I planned this for you. I did this, and this for you. But one of the main reasons that he broke up with her was because he asked her to put in on a rent. And she never did that. And that was one of his biggest hiccups. And so one day, he was in my chair when he was texting back and forth with her. I said, you should tell her that. Tell her that the one thing that I asked you to do, you never did. And when he told her that, she finally had her aha moment, was like, damn, I never thought of it that way. Now, granted, they still broke up because it was pretty much over with, but she at least understood that you may have thought that you did everything, but you ignored what he wanted. Or vice versa.
Cheating is something different, though. Cheating and breaking up is totally different.
No, I'm just saying, like, we because people would say that, you could do anything for a man, he'll still cheat. Well, there's a number of reasons why people cheat. You know, it could be you, it could be them, it could be a number of reasons. It ain't just, he just cheated out of nowhere, or she just cheated out of nowhere. It's always a rhyme or a reason.
The real thing that people should be asking is why are they dating somebody that would cheat on them? And why are they even like, because my friend, like, I have lifelong friends that would never lie to me. So I would expect my partner to be better than my friends because we're sharing a home and everything else. So we got to start, people got to start taking accountability for the things
So
they
They're
put
human. They
themselves
will
through.
lie at some point.
Ali, can I ask you a question? Are the men that like in the on the scene that most women are attracted to, do they have a realistic expectation of them being faithful?
You saying like, do women who date the uppity guys do they expect them to be faithful to them?
Yeah, like on this, like like
No.
we know. Okay, that's what I'm saying. When you were saying I can't see
Women who date have that, well, what y'all think is have value ain't really have value. $100,000 is a start of a good life, but when you get into have value millionaires with private jets, with no, they probably got a one yeah, that's a different ball game. To be honest, that people don't care at that level if you're cheating. I think. Which is beyond why we always arguing at them parties. They be like, "Get this bitch out of here!" Where is it? Like Black Power, because I'm like, I ain't letting you cheat on me. Like I can't do it. I
All
got a
right,
big.
let's kind of shift
I
it back
can't.
to the main topic. I know we got on cheating. Anybody else want to speak on? Going once. Going twice.
So no, I'm just kidding.
The motherfucker tired. Okay, let me get to the super chats real quick then.
I heard a goddamn cricket. I knew I wasn't tripping.
No, you was tripping earlier, but
I think we talked about it to death.
Yeah.
Nah, Jay, are you fucking with me, man?
Harrison Davis, 499 says salute. AP Accountability Partner says my boy Darwin been taking L's lately. Better box in your weight class, son. Dirty Soft, it's $5 swing. Y'all would figure it out. It was Andrea or you, or that you lied speaking of the stream. It was,
You got to go watch the show, bro.
yeah, I
Watch
think you addressed it. Omni Design Studio, $10. A broken vase cannot be put back together. Teach the younger generation from your mistakes to avoid them being broken as well. Sir Shah, rest in peace, OJ Simpson and Mr. C. Salute, Lapeef Gang. Hink in the basement says Hink Jr. Bruiser. Don't let Ali shame you, my guy. When it's summer, says Roof stop negotiating with terrorists. Champ Talk 499 says Roof folded. Origami style. Congo English $10 says Great Show JR reveals character and intent. Ali, I shouldn't need to be your daughter or mother to protect me. Ali, 5 minutes later. Who are you to try to lead me? And lastly, Abraham Lacey, $5 says, time waits for no one. Your decisions will lead you exactly to your current destination. And some people run out of time playing foolish games. I thank everybody that's contributed to the platform thus far. Make sure you check on the family on the panel. Make sure they still alive. Some of y'all gonna pass. Are y'all gonna take showers? Are y'all gonna brush your teeth before y'all go to bed? Or y'all just hopping straight in the bed? Are y'all flossing? No.
All that.
I mean, be honest, because y'all were just talking about people.
All of that. Doing face.
Because y'all was talking about people being
Yes.
one way on the panel, and then when they sign off, they're a completely different person. Are y'all flossing and showering?
I'm gonna go brush my teeth. Man, I'm going
Washing ass?
I'm gonna take a shower, brush my teeth, and all that stuff. I recommend all of the ladies to do that too, specifically. I know sometimes y'all chairs get moist.
I mean, some people. I don't know.
Thank you for that protection, Darwin. That's the type of protection I was looking for.
Hold on.
Woo!
Because I was on to something. So when folks get home, because I had a conversation with somebody about this, right? When folks get home, they get in the bed, they take their showers in the morning.
It depends on the people.
I just don't. I
say go for at least 2.
We take 2 to 3 in this house. At the very least 2.
Because my understanding is that if you've been out all day,
You probably sweaty.
you don't want to go get into a clean bed and to just to say that you clean. But I'm like, what about the whole entire day?
Yeah, but sometimes the bed might not be clean, so I guess it don't matter.
Or you could sleep on the couch.
If you've been pissing, farting, and shitting, you need to wash your ass during the day.
I think you should watch that. Period, man. It's just nothing like going to bed clean. So I just don't understand some folks. I guess they're not used to it. It's about upbringing, right? So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So us as
Not
parents.
all the time. I had teammates in high school that we would be dancing a whole basketball game or a football game, being outside with the band, and I knew that they didn't take no shower going to bed or the next day. They took a couple showers a week. They did not shower every day.
Did you tell them to take a shower?
Yes, I was like, that's nasty. You've been sweating outside with grass. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's
What race
disgusting.
was
But that's
Some people be like, say the water, they don't let you, so you gotta take that upon yourself to shower every night. So,
That's what it is, man. Make sure you got your children. If you got kids, make sure you let them know to brush their teeth and wash their ass, because then it becomes a good habit growing up. Otherwise, they're just going to keep repeating the same things that you've been doing, what you've been teaching them. That's the way you make a difference. It starts in the house. All right, that's our time. We out, folks.